All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour one, Jon and Jim, Monday, March 11th edition, with you for the next 3 hours. Jeff Grammer covers Mountain West basketball. He will join us at 4 p.m. He's a very good voice, in fact, on Mountain West basketball. We'll get you ready. Mountain West tournament, Las Vegas, Nevada for San Diego State, kicking off Thursday. We touched on it during the Fusion. Speaking of Las Vegas, Jim is back. He survived Bachelor Weekend 2024, his bachelor party. I won't ask for details because the last time I pressed you on details, I guess it went a little overboard. But how was the weekend? How was the weekend?
How?
Well, no. How was the weekend overall?
It was great. It was fantastic.
Great.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It was awesome. We did an escape room on Friday night.
Yeah.
You know the movie It?
No, I don't.
Well, the movie It is about a clown, like a scary clown.
Yeah.
You would know. Like it's from like the 70s and 80s, right, Brent?
Definitely.
And then
80s,
and there was a book, and then it became a big movie a couple of years ago.
Okay.
It's a mini series in the 90s,
and so
that sounds right up my alley.
Did an escape room, and it was like one of the best escape rooms that I've ever done. Like the quality of it was amazing.
So you've done a lot of escape rooms?
Not a lot, but I've done like maybe 4 or 5.
Oh wow.
And if you ever go in an escape room, I mean, you have to get out of the escape room.
Or you're there forever.
Or you're there forever. Not really. But the whole time we were being chased by Pennywise the Clown.
Okay.
It was really good. It was awesome. We went to the all-you-can-eat sushi place that we went to.
Same place?
Same place.
It's a great place.
Dude, it was
it's a great place.
Fantastic.
Yep.
And my buddies didn't realize, with all-you-can-eat sushi, like we have to like kind of eat the sushi. We can't just
can't just
leave
have
it.
like a roll.
So we sit down immediately. They're like, I want this. We probably had 25 total rolls for 4 people.
That's a ton. Yeah.
And by the end of it, we were like fully stuffed. And
Makes
then
sense.
staying at Circa was amazing.
Right.
You know Circa. I mean,
Yes, I
the
do.
sports book there, and the weather was really nice. It wasn't 140 degrees like when we went. So the pool was really good. The golf course we played was one of the top-ranked 3 golf courses in Las Vegas. My buddy's a pro, so he got us on for like an amazing rate.
Right.
And then Hell's Kitchen. I know you've never eaten there, right?
I haven't eaten there. I don't think. No.
They do have a vegetarian menu.
Do they really?
Yeah, they do.
Maybe I'll check it out. Seriously.
They have one in Harrah's here in San Diego.
Yeah. No, we didn't go there, I don't think.
We've been to Harrah's before, but
I didn't go there.
You didn't go
Okay.
there.
Yeah.
That meal was amazing.
You love Hell's Kitchen because
Dude,
you've been there a few times.
I love Hell's Kitchen.
Yep.
The beef Wellington, I got a lobster tail with it. It was fantastic. And then, of course, not winning any money was also very fun.
Did you lose a lot overall? You lost $100 on a San Diego State game.
And then we were roaming around Fremont Street because that's where Circa's at.
Yep.
And we go play some like cheap blackjack table.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never lost money faster in my life than I did sitting down at this blackjack table. This dealer, I'm not kidding you, like 7 straight hands, either a 20 or 21. And she was just destroying everybody at our table. But we're idiots, and we kept staying there, and we kept betting, and it turned into a very, very quick lost sum of chunk money. So
I feel like I feel like typically when people go to Vegas, they always win.
No, we didn't
People
even get close to winning.
Isn't that how the casinos are built, on other people's winnings?
No, we didn't get close to winning at all. That didn't happen.
Okay.
But it was good. In and out, quick weekend. Like I said, I probably slept like a total of 10 hours. And last night I went to bed I got home at 9:30 at night last night when my flight was supposed to leave at 1:30.
Mm-hmm.
Freaking delay. I'm never flying this airline ever again. It was delayed all day. I passed out. I woke up at like 9 this morning, good 12 hours of sleep because it's just like not even really drinking that much this weekend, but for some reason it just knocks you out. Like Vegas, if you're there for a weekend and you just go hang out and do stuff, you're like, why do I feel like I got hit by a bus?
I love how Jim says that, by the way, for anyone listening that has kids. Like, I slept 10 hours over 2 nights.
Yeah.
That's what I sleep over every 2 nights.
That's true. Yeah.
All right. Here's what I want to get to.
But you can when you go to Vegas when you go to Vegas, you know that you can do all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I probably won't.
No,
but I will go to the Mountain West tournament, and Jeff Grammer is going to join us at 4 p.m. for the Albuquerque Journal, and we'll get into this tournament, what it means for San Diego State and the league. There's a lot to get into. We will get into San Diego State, of course. Jackson Merrill homered today for the Padres. We do have starting pitching matchups, by the way, for games 1 and 2. We'll get into that. Seemed like a bit of a layup to go Yu Darvish opposite Yamamoto, but they didn't do that. They're going Darvish against Yamamoto, right?
No, it's Darvish versus Glasnow,
Yeah.
Musgrove versus Yamamoto.
Right. That's what I was saying.
Like, is it a situation where both teams could have maybe said, "Hey, let's do this"?
Here's my guess. My guess is in Korea, it's like you're basically making a marquee game for both games by doing this, because now you have an Asian pitcher in both of the games. I think they're marquee games either way. But Jackson Merrill homers today. He's 2 for 3. He's hitting .323. He's got an OPS over 800. He's had a good spring. Now, there's been some reaction on social media. See, I told you he was going to have a good spring. Look at him. He's had this massive spring. And I'll say what I've said every single day, and I'll use AJ Preller's own words, which is spring training isn't a good evaluation tool. I've never altered from that statement. And no matter what you do in spring, whether it's good or not, it doesn't matter, because you have to do it again in the regular season. Nobody's going to care about Jackson Merrill's spring. I'm glad he's had a good spring. It's better than the alternative, but the alternative doesn't mean he's bad in the regular season, and this doesn't mean he's good in the regular season. So he's had a good spring. Now he's got to do it in the regular season. But having a good spring, like we said, if his good spring matters, then why does Joe Musgrove's bad spring not? I've said that repeatedly and consistently, and I continue to say it.
Because Joe has a track record in the professional baseball.
Yeah, it doesn't matter though. I mean, AJ Preller said that spring training is not a good evaluation tool. I mean, there's young players that have had good springs or bad springs, have had good seasons or bad seasons.
And that's why I went back to, by the way, everybody needs to like listen carefully, okay? Because a lot of people think that I've been bashing Jackson Merrill and saying that he sucks and he shouldn't be on the roster and why are you doing this? Like, no. Listen with your ears, people.
You're telling other people to listen.
I am, which is very ironic.
It's ironic.
It's very, very ironic. I understand that. The second I said, I was like, oh, yeah, okay. But I have never once said that Jackson Merrill should not be on this roster. I've said I am cautiously optimistic about Jackson Merrill, but I also understand there is big risk of doing this because AJ Preller has a tendency and a track record of rushing prospects to the major leagues and them not performing or succeeding. So with Jackson Merrill, I hope that's not the case. And that is something that we have to keep an eye on. And you can't just all of a sudden automatically go, he's going to be the greatest player ever, which, I mean, the propaganda out there, it feels like that's what, the bar set for him, or he's going to completely suck and fizzle out. You can't go to that extreme. You have to kind of, I know we say, hey, we give our opinions every day. We react in real time to things. It's hard for us to say, let's wait and see, because we can't just sit here for 6 months and then go through 3 hours every day, say, well, you know what? I'm not going to talk about this because I'm going to wait till the end of the season to give my opinion on it. But with Jackson Merrill, there is a little bit of that. And I feel like with him, it is a wait and see. It is okay, we know he's going to be on this roster. We've said as much as early as last week.
No, before that.
Well, before then, you're right.
Multiple weeks, because they haven't acquired any players. Have you seen their potential 5 outfielders?
Yeah, it's not great
for opening day. You have Tatis and Merrill and
a lot of question marks.
Profar and Mercado and
So
a lot of question marks. Of course, he's going to be in their outfield. They have no other options.
But for him, we do have to truly give him at least some time. If he starts the season 2 for 20, yes, we will react to it, but also give him some time. We hope it doesn't happen. I think me and you both agree. Like, we want Jackson Merrill to succeed. It's just, it's a hard situation that he's being put into when you have thousands and thousands of examples of the same players like Jackson Merrill being put in the same situation and not succeeding.
Well, some do. And by the way, the short term, whether it's 10 for 20 to start or 2 for 20 to start, doesn't really tell you what he's going to do over 3, 4, 5, 600 plate appearances. I think the truth is this, Jim. What are you going to say if Manny Machado starts 2 for 20? You're going to be critical. I'll answer for you. If they start 2 for 20 and the team doesn't win, like you said, we talk about every single day. Why would you say anything other than that? If Manny Machado starts 2 for 20 with 2 singles, you're going to say, hey, Manny's got to step up. It's a bad start for Manny Machado. Yeah, he's coming off injury. If Merrill starts 2 for 20, I doubt we're going to say, hey, he's a pup, give him time. You're going to react to it in real time. If he starts 2 for 20, it doesn't mean he's not hitting 300 as a rookie. And if he starts 10 for 20, it doesn't mean he is hitting 300. That's the point.
Yeah.
That's the point.
I understand that. I just feel like there is a lofty expectation on Jackson Merrill to succeed right away. And if he doesn't succeed right away, then it will be like, okay, pressure's on, because if he doesn't go into this, if he doesn't have like the great start that not everybody, but most people are expecting him to have, then it's going to be like, oh, here we go again.
Right.
Another prospect that's top ranked in the Padres system that gets brought up by AJ Preller too quickly and fizzles out. Like, you don't want to see that for Preller's sake and for the Padres' sake.
Well, I look at it this way. It's like everyone agrees that the Padres have a good crop of young players. The question is, at what point does it pay dividends at the Major League roster to help you win? Like, there is reason to believe their future with a young core can win. Hopefully, we'll see. But does that mean they win immediately with these young players? If they rely immediately on Merrill, Graham Pauley, Jacob Marcy, we'll see. Are they asking too much of them to win now? Like, it's one thing to say they have a bright future. I agree. We all agree. Nobody's saying Jackson Merrill doesn't have a bright future. Nobody's saying Graham Pauley doesn't have a bright future. Nobody can predict what's going to happen with the Padres in 2025 and beyond. Can they help this team win now? Is the question that people should be asking. And it's impossible to answer.
I said it last week. I'm not really worried about Jackson Merrill right now. I'm really not. I'm worried about everybody else that are filling these roster spots with a bunch of uncertainty. I mean, John, this is their projected bench right now. This is way more worrisome than anything with Jackson Merrill. Jackson Merrill, I feel like, as far as the holes on this team that they have, is the least worrisome part of the holes.
Okay.
In my opinion right now. I mean, they're looking at a bench of Kyle Higashioka, Brett Sullivan, Jose Azocar, Eggy Rosario. Maybe Brett Sullivan replaced with like a Cal Mitchell or a Oscar Mercado, whatever. But that's their bench, okay? That's way bigger of a problem than Jackson Merrill starting 2 for 20, in my opinion.
Yeah, maybe in the long term. I mean, I think initially, like, especially this Korea series, you may not even see the bench.
Probably not.
You know, if they treat it like it's a postseason game and they use all their starting pitchers and they just keep their players in for all 9 innings, you may not even see the bench. And by the way, people are going to overreact to the Korea games as if 2 games makes a season, whether you go 0-2 or 2-0 or 1-1. Yeah, over 162, bench, that's a concern. Over 162, relying on young players as regulars, especially playing them out of their natural position, that could be a concern. I think you add it all up over, nothing's a concern over one day. Jackson Merrill on opening day could have 3 hits. But over 162, is he able to deliver consistently? Over 162, do you have a bench that's built to help you win? I still think someone tweeted this out. This is unbelievable to me if this is accurate. Do they have 8 spots as of today open on the 40-man? That's not accurate.
I saw that. AJ Casville said that he got, or it was bad information that he put out there.
What's it at? 36, 37?
I think it's at 37.
Oh, okay. So, I was going to say, that doesn't make any sense. I mean,
because Jackson Merrill still hasn't technically been put on the major league.
So they'll put him on the major league roster the day they have to put him on the major league roster.
They'll put like Graham Pauley on the major league roster.
They have to put him on. So your 37 goes to 39 or 40 based on the moves you make before opening.
Correct. And I'm sure a pitcher or 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I mean, so there's that. And then again, it was finalized today. You do have Darvish starting the opener. You have Musgrove starting game 2. We knew it was going to be in one order or the other. Speaking of which, like you said, Merrill, okay, I'm not as concerned about Jackson Merrill off the bat. I mean, it's a good point. Even like Darvish, even like Musgrove, we don't know what to expect. They haven't pitched in the regular season in a long time. One of them was July. The other was August. Springs have been irregular. It's a weird spring. I mean, it's a short spring. They're leaving in 2 days for Korea. To your point, it's like, I'm less concerned about Merrill going 0 for 4, 2 for 4 on March 20th, as I am to see what does Darvish look like?
Right.
What does Musgrove look like? That to me is way more fascinating than any one position player's performance in any one game.
It just feels like Merrill is the end all be all to their success because, one, it's all anybody talks about. He is the only, it feels like he's the only player on this Padres team that is being talked about. He's a rookie. He has 0 plate appearances in the big leagues. He's not going to make or break this season. He's just not. The only thing that he can do really is like help this team out in a way that, you didn't get that production from center field from Trent Grisham last year. And you hope that he actually turns into a piece because they need that from their farm system. They need a position player to hit. It doesn't have to be like an all-star rookie of the year level, but he needs to be like a solid contributor, like just a solid everyday Major League Baseball player. This team will go based on the performances, not of Jackson Merrill, but of Manny Machado, of Fernando Tatis Jr., of Xander Bogaerts, of Yu Darvish, of Joe Musgrove, like Hassan Kim. Those players' performances are way more important and going to be way more impactful to this team than what Jackson Merrill does.
And by the way, whatever you think of their offseason, the offseason's over. I mean, they can make moves between now and March 28th, and they can make moves between now and like the 1st of April, but they're hopping on a plane for Korea. So there's no like saving the season type player walking through those clubhouse doors in the next 48 hours, I wouldn't think. I don't think all of a sudden they're going to announce the big Tommy Pham deal. I don't think all of a sudden, hey, those Blake Snell eye emojis were pointed towards San Diego. Like, they're leaving. This is the team. There are some good things to like you said. If you rely on your core and they perform, you have a chance, hopefully, to compete for 162. There's some areas that they're going to need to prove to us that they're capable of overcoming potentially. But whether you like it or not, this is the team. Yeah. They're leaving in 2 days. This is the team they're going to have March 20th and 21st. Could it change between now and March 28th? Yeah, in a minor degree. But like, even if they did sign Tommy Pham, and we've advocated for it.
I don't think they will, but
even if they did, again, is it that much of a different team? Even if they did sign Michael A. Taylor, is it that much of a different team? This is who they are. This is 99% of who they are heading into the regular season.
Yeah, a minor move here and there, but you're right. There's not this next move coming, which is surprising. We are
surprised.
almost officially, 48 hours away from them leaving for Korea.
Yeah, definitely.
And that roster that they bring to Korea will be their opening day roster.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody thought, including us, even people that cover this team daily, we're saying adamant, like, hey, they're going to do another move. They will make another move for a major league player. They will sign a major league player. They will do something. It is very hard to envision this team going into this year with what they have and how many holes they have on the roster.
That's how I felt.
That's how I felt too.
Yep.
Well, guess what? No moves.
None.
And we're going to see if it's going to work or if it's not going to work. If the no moves and Merrill are going with, maybe too much youth to fill these holes to start the season will work out, or it won't work out. And then there's going to be a lot of question marks going into the rest of the year. And the bench part of it, it's like they can't afford any injuries. If this is truly the roster they have with the depth they have in their minor league system and the players that we've seen in spring training, you get one big injury on this roster, that is going to be a huge problem.
Well, I would say this. Related to go back to the Juan Soto trade for a second. Remember the day when they traded him away?
I know. I remember it. Yeah.
Did you ever imagine the day they traded Juan Soto away, they were done? No matter what you thought of the trade.
Take away the Matsui Go and Peralta. I know.
Yes, exactly. Okay, minor moves on the periphery. But did you imagine, because if you think about it,
like lineup moves,
Matsui Go, we'll see about Peralta, but Matsui Go had never pitched the major leagues. I mean, we'll see what role they play in 2024. I think there's value there. They're going to play important roles if this team is good. But could you possibly imagine that on the other side of Juan Soto's trade, they would spend $5 million combined dollars or $7 million combined dollars?
Yeah, whatever it was.
All off season long after trading away a left fielder that was owed $32 million. Could you ever envision that? I couldn't have. I really could not have.
Well, after listening to Eric Grubner on with Darren on Friday, I think it was, when I was traveling, it seems like this organization is really making that push of, we can't spend money anymore like we did. Like, there's no way in hell we're going to do that ever again because we're losing money. And this organization can't afford to lose money. And the continued talking points of how this is the market that we're in, the market that we're in, the market that we're in. It's like, okay, well, okay.
Yep.
Peter didn't really care about that, but you do. So here we are. And because of that, they're going to need these young players to hit. They're going to have the Jackson Merrill. And even if it's not Jackson Merrill, it doesn't have to be Jackson Merrill. It needs to be somebody else. It has to be somebody.
No, I agree.
And I don't care who it is. They need to have some of these minor league guys hit in a big way.
Yes.
And if they don't, that's a problem.
But it's like, you go back to even the quotes from the GM, AJ Preller, at the winter meetings, or even after the fact, saying we're going to wait to see where the market is in January and see if we can find some bargains. They found no bargains. Not one. There wasn't one player available to you that could help this team. Not one. And if you say, well, they were overpriced, so you're going to tell me you're going to potentially mortgage some of your chances at success because Tommy Pham wants another $1 million, because Michael A. Taylor wants another 1.5, because this fifth starter wants 9 and you're offering 7. Yeah. You're going to mortgage some of this season, hold the line because they're overpriced, but you have needs. That to me is still the most surprising part of the offseason. They traded Juan Soto, okay. It was always a possibility. The fact that they backfilled in no real way off the Soto move. Now they address needs in the move, but I mean, come on. They needed to do more than just that. You don't just trade Juan Soto, not sign Blake Snell, not sign Josh Hader, and make that your entire offseason. I mean, they did it. That's a bit extreme.
They did it.
And it is it not extreme?
They did it. It is extreme, John. It is. I'm sitting here and it is. I am not one of those people that is like over the moon that we get to see all these prospects right away.
Right.
I'm just not, because I know that this team's in a situation where they have to win. If they were in a situation like they were in 2017,
yeah,
completely different mindset. Mm-hmm. I would be, yes, through the roof. Can't wait to see Jackson Merrill. Can't wait to see Graham Pauly. Can't wait to see whoever else.
But they didn't have like 4 $30 million players.
Exactly. They don't have the expectations of you have to make the postseason. They don't have a GM. They do. They have a GM who's in his 10th season, who I would feel like is on the hot seat here.
I just think they're trying to thread a needle. It's like, hey, we've spent a lot on the core, but we really like our young players, and we don't have any money coming in, so let's just make this work. To your point, they got to stay healthy. It's like you're threading here. If the things work your way, great. If they don't, what does the other side look like?
I mean, John, look, with Jackson Merrill going 3 for 4 today with a home run and an RBI double, this team might win 103 games this year.
They could win more than that, Jim.
That's very possible.
It is a possibility. I'll say the same thing I've said all spring about Jackson Merrill. What he does here nobody's gonna care come March 20th.
No.
Whatever he does here isn't gonna impact what he does in the regular season. And I do know this: they're gonna count on him in the regular season.
And real quickly here, what I did say is, for a guy trying to make the team, he needed to not just open the door slightly. I felt like he needed to emphatically open that door. I'm here. Put me on the roster. You have no other choice but to make me the opening day, whatever. And I feel like up to this point, it's not like an emphatically like knock the door down, but he
probably is now based on today.
Well, based on today, then it probably is, but good for him. He made the decision easy for the Padres by having a very good spring, and he was the opening day center fielder.
There was no decision to be made. When you have Mercado,
but if he hit 112 this spring, then what?
I think he would have been on the team.
I'm glad he didn't, because if he did, then we would be talking about that.
Yeah, probably. But again, fairly or unfairly, because it is spring training numbers. On the other side, Mountain West Tournament is kicking off on Thursday. San Diego State's path to a Mountain West Tournament title, not exactly easy. We'll discuss on the other side. Plus, Jeff Grammer covers the Mountain West. The media today naming Jaden Ledee as the Mountain West Player of the Year. He'll join us at 4 p.m. This is Jon and Jim. All right, what's on the line for San Diego State this week in Vegas? How does it impact their potential NCAA tournament seed? That's next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Taco Bell. Mountain West Conference tournament for the Aztecs kickoff this Thursday as they take on UNLV. They're the 5th seed in the Mountain West Conference tournament. 2:30 p.m. is when tip-off happens in Vegas. Of course, you can listen to that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. Padres news of the day. Mike Schilt announced Yu Darvish will open the season in Korea versus Tyler Glasnow in Game 1. And Joe Musgrove will take on Yamamoto in Game 2. NFL free agency is underway. Kirk Cousins going to the Falcons, Saquon Barkley to the Eagles, and Josh Jacobs to the Packers, just to name a few top free agents on the move. And the Clippers announced their new G League team, the San Diego Clippers, will move to Oceanside from Ontario next season. Taco Bell's new Cravings Value Menu is a big deal, or rather, it's 10 big deals from new items like the loaded nachos to familiar favorites like the spicy potato soft taco. Check it out at a participating Taco Bell today. Available for limited time only while supplies last.
This hour, we have St. Patty's Day tickets to give away today. This is March 16th. We have tickets to Cage the Elephant at Viejas. That's in July. And we have tickets to America's Favorite Car Show returning to Del Mar. This is April 5th through the 7th. What do you want to give away this hour? All right, Cage the Elephant tickets we're giving away this hour. If you want to win those tickets, be listening. We'll give them away between now and 4 p.m. So Jim missed Friday's Aztecs game, even though he bet on it. But you missed the game because you're in Vegas for a bachelor party. Completely understandable.
I was so detached from like everything the second I got home, and early when I was at the airport yesterday and I was looking up stuff. I'm like,
wait, what happened?
Wait, what?
Friday. The best way to summarize Friday, and we talked about it maybe a little in the fusion, was there's a lot of like overreaction, I think, based on what happened Friday. Again, you hadn't lost at home. It's senior day. Of course you want to win the game. It's a big game. You're favored. Yes, no doubt. But when you if you watched how this played out with Max Rice hitting a 50-foot heave, with San Diego State having a couple of, I mean, again, sometimes it's basketball. Like sometimes it's basketball, and sometimes like credit Boise State, they're good. So now what does it mean from an NCAA tournament seeding perspective? That's a good question, because a couple of weeks ago, the Aztecs might have been in line for a 4 seed. That feels like a reach at this point. Is a 5 seed a reach at this point? Do they still need to win a game or 2 or more in the Mountain West tournament? I think that's the question right now. Also, nobody wants to go into Selection Sunday in a 3-game losing streak.
No.
I don't know the last time they've lost 3 consecutive games. I'd have to look it up.
What
I haven't done that.
What about 2 consecutive games?
Before right now, it was Maui.
Okay.
How about that?
That's
so
crazy.
they lost to Arizona
and Arkansas?
And Arkansas with the lead that they gave up.
That was the game that Lamont
I forget what happened. They turned it over. Yes. Yeah. And Arkansas tied it up. And then they won in overtime. So that's a great point. The last time they lost consecutive games was in November of 2022, before right now, which alone is pretty amazing.
Yeah. Well, this is what happens. And I'm talking about the fan backlash that you saw on Friday night.
There was a lot of it.
Yeah. This is what happens when not only you have the expectations, but you're also like really good. And people expect you to just continue to be at that level that you were at and have been at for the last decade plus, which is top of the Mountain West Conference, always going into the Mountain West Conference tournament as a high seed, getting in there, winning the Mountain West Conference tournament. And then now with last year's national championship run, if the Aztecs happen to lose on the opening weekend of March Madness, people are going to lose their freaking minds. When in reality, each team every year is always different. To have this level of success can't just be a straight line through and through. There's dips and valleys throughout every single season. And last year's run was like, it felt like this could be a once in a lifetime run with opportunities to do the same thing in the future. Just you can't always expect this team and any team in any league or conference to always be in the Final Four or the national championship. And guess what? We don't even know that yet because that tournament hasn't even happened. So who says they can't go and make a run this year? Who says they can't go make a Sweet 16 or an Elite 8 run and just roll the dice and see what happens? Like, there's still a lot of season potentially left, and they can potentially right the ship a little bit in the Mountain West Conference tournament with playing good basketball heading into March Madness.
Let me put it this way. This is a perspective, and I think you did a good job putting it in perspective. Because, in the history of the program, how many times they've been seeded better than a 6 seed in the history of San Diego State men's basketball? 100 years? But like even since 5? This era. 3.
Okay.
They've been a 2. That was in 2010-11 when they lost to UConn in the Sweet 16.
Yep.
They've been a 4 when, trying to think, they went to a Sweet 16, 2014, right? So they went to 11 and 14.
Yep. They also lose to UConn then too?
No, they lost to Arizona.
Oh, it's right, Arizona. That's right.
They were a 5 seed last year. Those are the 3 instances of better than a 6 seed. Now, the caveat, they would have been higher than a 6 seed, obviously, in 2020.
Right.
But the point is, it's not like they fall out of bed every year.
They weren't a 5 seed in... When did they play Syracuse? Like
6 seed.
They're a 6 seed.
6 seed.
Okay. Yeah.
So better than a 6 seed 3 times in the history of the program. And I don't know if they're going to be better than a 6 seed. They probably need to win a game or 2 to be a 5 seed. They could still be a 6. I guess in theory, if they lose to UNLV on Thursday, maybe they could fall as low as a 7. I think that's a little extreme, but they're likely a 5 or a 6 is my best guess. I'm not a bracketologist. That's my best guess. But again, that's pretty good if you look at their all-time history. So like before, to your point, before we write the finished, eulogy here, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens in Vegas. This is the most important time. This would be like saying this. Be like, you know what? Hey, Padres at one point through May were ticketed to win the division, and now they're just a wild card. This season's been a disappointment. How do you know what they're going to do? It's October 1st. They're about to play in the playoffs, and you want to write the full book on the Padres? The season's not over.
No. And it's so hard. How many times do you see teams make a run, and then the next year they kind of struggle?
Yeah, I'd have to look. I mean, it's a good point. I don't know.
I
really don't know. It's a good point.
In any sport.
Right, you're thinking about your Niners, for example. It's a good point.
Like I think the Niners are going to struggle this upcoming season.
Yeah.
This past year, it was the Eagles, right?
Yes. Right point.
Like teams, when you get to a certain point, you put so much effort into getting there, and then the following season, it's really hard to like get back on that level after you just went through it. Like it takes so much out of you. It just does. Like you're just emotionally drained. And while they did have what 5 returning starters from last year, or 5 returning players from last year? Because they got Paris, Ledee, Lamont, Darion. 4. Sorry, 4. Right?
Oh, then Elijah and Miles Burr, but they really didn't play much.
No,
yeah.
I don't count them.
Yeah, okay.
4 like key contributors to last year's team.
4 out of 9 key
4 out of 9,
contributors.
and they play a lot.
Yep.
Like they're not just like 5-10 minute guys. They play a lot of minutes. And I'm not trying to make an excuse for them, but but it is one of those situations where it's just sometimes hard to get back to that level. Because you're putting, the mental grind, the physical grind, all of it. It's just very difficult. And again, who says that those 4 guys can't lead the way to a run this year in March as well?
That's the thing. Nobody really knows. Jaden Ledee is one of the nation's best players. You're going to find out. He was named by the media today Mountain West Player of the Year. We'll see if the coaches vote that way or not. He's going to be elected as a first, second, or third team All-American by all kinds of publications over the next 10 days. So he's one of the best players in the nation. You have players that on big stages have performed. Look no further than Darion Trammell. Look no further than Lamont Butler. Micah Parrish, you don't win against Charleston without Micah Parrish hitting a huge 3 in the opening round last year. So we don't know what's going to happen, is my point. We'll see. And by the way, Thursday's no walk in the park against UNLV in Vegas.
They have to go through UNLV, Utah State,
potentially,
and then potentially Boise again, or New Mexico,
Nevada. They're red hot.
Nevada. Yeah. So they're going to have to earn this Mountain West Conference tournament title if they get there, which it's another thing that, they've made the championship every year that Dutch has been the coach.
Yes.
And this one will probably be the hardest run that they have had in Dutch's time. Would you say that?
Yes.
As far as the competition goes?
In the conference tournament?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the first year kind of came out of nowhere.
They won 6 straight going into the tournament. They won 3 straight in the tournament.
And they had to win to make the NCAAs. So that's the difference between this team. They can lose on Friday, and they're still
going. Thursday, sorry.
Yeah. So we'll see. But they have all been there before. They have the experience. They're still a really good team. It's not that they're getting blown out in these games.
No,
right?
You're right. The thing about the UNLV loss in Vegas, kid hits a step back jumper. Give him credit. Deadon Thomas. In this game the other day, in overtime, you lose by 2, and Max Rice hits a 50-footer.
These are all going to be just close.
Probably.
Close games. And I'd be shocked if the Aztecs get blown out in anyone.
Thursday at 2:30, our pregame coverage at 2 p.m. San Diego State, UNLV from the Thomas and Mack Center in Las Vegas, Nevada in the Mountain West quarters. We're going to give away these Cage the Elephant tickets coming up on the other side of a break. Plus, is that good? The best and worst of the sports weekend next on Jon and Jim. So when you have a 5-year-old, every morning before school, your son asks you for a snack, and 99% of the time he asks you for something that's unhealthy. Not anymore. Now he's been asking, including this morning, for Almond RX, a pack of Almond RX for children, for families with children. That's huge because you want to feed your children vending machine from your day and get your daily dose of vitamin D. Everyone loves a healthy snack for your family. If that's what you're looking for, and it curbs hunger. Like, this is a meal replacement. You're not gonna be hungry for hours with a Almond RX pack. It's the only skinless almond fortified with vitamin D. And it was founded by a San Diego sports medicine physician, and it's packed with nutrients and antioxidants, and it supports your heart and your cellular health and your gut health. It has a number of other healthy benefits as well. It's available for you here in San Diego. You can find Almond RX at any Foodland in San Diego County. You can find it at Harvest Ranch in Encinitas or at almondrx.com. That's ALMONDRX.com. Here's the deal. Go there right now. Get free shipping on orders over $25. Again, almondrx.com. Immune support, cognitive function, supports bone health, heart health. almondrx.com. Go there right now. Free shipping on orders over $25. All right, Jon and Jim back with you. All right, in the next 5, 6, I can even say 7 minutes, we're going to give away a pair of tickets to see Cage the Elephant. It's their Neon Phil tour, Jim.
Oh, nice.
VA House Arena, July 6th. Tickets at info@livenation.com. Keep listening for a chance to win. Is there anything from Cage the Elephant I would know? Like, Brent is like a movie music connoisseur, I feel like.
Ain't No Rest for the Wicked is the only one I know.
Okay. Ain't No Rest for the Wicked. Do you know Cage the Elephant?
No.
Okay, well, they're coming to VA House Arena.
Perfect.
So you can know them by then.
Experience them for the first time.
Yes, we'll tell you when to call. Do not call right now. We do have Cage the Elephant tickets. We'll give them away coming up in the next handful of minutes. We do have Jeff Grammer, Albuquerque Journal, joining us at 4 p.m. We'll talk more about the Mountain West Tournament coming up this week. Right now, let's get to this in a moment. There it is.
I put in NFL free agency as part of the weekend.
Yeah, definitely. Do it.
Just because it happened before our show.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to go with Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
Signing a 3-year deal with the division rival Philadelphia Eagles today. Is that good?
It's kind of on prime. I mean, to go from
It's good for him.
Giants to Eagles in your prime is going to be a talking point on Sports Talk Radio in New York and Philadelphia.
You think?
Like the thing that people will talk about all week.
Well, he could have stayed with the Giants.
Yep.
If it wasn't for that atrocious, I'm blanking on their quarterback's name. Daniel Jones. Is that just a horrible contract that they gave him after the 9-7 season, the previous year, and it just got them to a situation where they couldn't keep Saquon Barkley. Now Saquon gets hurt a lot, but still,
And he's getting paid too. I mean, that's a good amount of money. Is it not for a running back? $37.75
feels
million.
like the Eagles are trying to emulate the Niners a little bit and have like all pros at every position.
Completely agree. How about this? Jaden Ledee, we mentioned this earlier. He was named Mountain West Player of the Year by the media. Now, the Coaches Award, which is the official award, is given out tomorrow. But according to the league's media, Jaden Ledee is the Mountain West Player of the Year. Is that good? That's very good. Very good. He's had a great year.
Great year. Blake Snell is still a free agent.
Is that right?
Is that good?
But he's tweeting or something.
I mean, he's tweeting out like eyes emojis.
He's like us. Is it good that he's a free agent?
No, he's
Still?
Are you kidding me?
Like, what are we doing here, baseball?
Yeah,
I mean, just
weird.
They do everything they possibly can to be less and less like relevant every single year with moves and free agency. And
Look at
trades.
the NFL. The NFL season just ended, and we have signings.
I know.
Maybe no one's in a hurry to sign Snell because they know that he's not even going to like start to
Matter
get ready
in
for
April.
the season. For,
Yeah.
like,
Well, it's even
another 2
worse
months.
if he's not with the team.
I know. Potentially.
It's ridiculous. Baseball's ugh.
All right, Jackson Merrill today, homer, double, raising his batting average to 344 this spring. His
Merrill
OPS
madness.
this spring is now at 931.
With one, I mean, this game really helped it a lot.
Oh,
but
it
still,
did. He came in hitting not that good.
it was
but
like he had like a 720 OPS.
it's going up 200 points his OPS and 60 points his batting average. But is that good?
Yeah.
It is gone!
No, and honestly, like, good for him.
He needed a game like this.
Good for him because now he is going to have all the confidence in the world going into the season, knowing that he had a really good spring, and I'm glad for him. I just hope it works, and we'll see. Finally, Kirk Cousins signing a massive 4-year, $180 million contract with the Atlanta Falcons today. Is that good?
No, he's
What are they thinking?
Are you kidding me?
$45 million per year for Kirk Cousins as a what-year-old?
35.
I mean, come on. Is an extreme reach.
Kirk Cousins. It's
Again,
like,
you can win, but to what end? You can't win at the high level. You can win.
yeah, and it's always so difficult when quarterbacks, especially, go to different teams because they have to learn all the systems. And I'm not saying he can't do it, but
Yeah, again, but okay, Tom Brady went from New England to Tampa and won. That's an extreme example. Kirk
True.
Cousins probably is the opposite.
and he had everything in place for him, and he had the weapons, and he had the coaching staff. I don't
And
think
the Falcons
Falcons don't. I don't Falcons don't have that.
And then finally, Caitlin Clark, 34 points in Iowa's Big Ten championship tournament win over Nebraska, was it?
I watched the entire game from Circa Sportsbook. It was a fantastic game.
34 points, 12 assists in the win for Iowa. Is she good? She's good.
She's good. She's good.
All right, here's the number to call right now. If you want Cage the Elephant tickets, caller 3, they are yours. 2 free tickets, Cage the Elephant, Neon Pill Tour, Viejas Arena, July 6th, 877-767-4760. Caller 3, they are yours. 877-767-4760. Tickets and info at livenation.com. 877-767-4760. Jeff Grammer, Albuquerque Journal, gets us ready for the Mountain West Tournament after this break on Jon and Jim.
This update's brought to you by Taco Bell. Aztecs start the Mountain West Conference tournament on Thursday. That's when their opening game is. 2:30 p.m. is when they'll tip off versus UNLV. Of course, you can listen to that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. Padres news today. Mike Schild announced that Yu Darvish will open this season in Korea versus Tyler Glasnow. Joe Musgrove will take on Yamamoto in game 2. And Cactus League play today. The Padres all over the Seattle Mariners 13-3. Jackson Merrill went 3 for 4 with a home run and an RBI double in the game. NFL free agency. It's been a wild day. Kirk Cousins going to the Falcons, Saquon Barkley to the Eagles, Josh Jacobs to the Packers, and Austin Eckler going to the Commanders. And the Clippers announced their new G League team today in San Diego. They'll be called the San Diego Clippers. The move will be to Oceanside from Ontario next season. Taco Bell's new Cravings Value menu is a big deal, or rather, it's been 10 big deals, from new items like the loaded nachos to familiar favorites like the spicy potato soft taco. Check it out at our participating Taco Bell today, available for a limited time only while supplies last.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 2 of Jon and Jim. And as Jim just told you, the Mountain West tournament will actually begin on Wednesday. San Diego State avoiding the play-in round because Utah State beat New Mexico this past weekend in a thrilling game up in Logan, Utah. Jeff Grammer is with us. He does an amazing job covering the Mountain West for the Albuquerque Journal. He's back with us here, Jon and Jim. San Diego Sports 760. There's a lot to get into. Obviously, the NCAA tournament, the Mountain West tournament, media putting out its year-end awards as well. Jaden Ledee named by the media as the best player or the player of the year in the Mountain West. But Jeff, we appreciate your time in San Diego. I just want to start with this upcoming tournament. I mean, we've said this before, but is it true heading into this that this is the most unpredictable of them all, with as good as this league has been this year?
Yeah, I think so. I think that you got obviously we know the numbers, right? 7 could play if UNLV plays its way in, if UNM picks up a win or two. What you have a lot of years is what, 1 or 2 teams that we know are pretty good, 3 teams maybe, and it doesn't really set up where all 4 quarterfinal games could be pretty good. And we're talking even the 1 seed against Wyoming. Wyoming, when they get good, they can kind of cause a little bit of a problem. So, 3.5, I guess, of the 4 quarterfinal games on Thursday should be really good games. And I just don't remember when all 4 quarterfinal games, really gave us something to be interested in. And it's going to be great. I can't imagine what a bad semifinal matchup would even be at this point.
Yeah, it's probably one of the best Mountain West Conference tournaments in recent memory, with all the teams that could potentially win the tournament and get that automatic bid. But getting into Sunday here, Jeff, how many teams realistically you think are going to feel good about themselves regardless of what happens this upcoming weekend in the Mountain West Conference tournament to get to March Madness?
Yeah, 4. I think 4 are good. I know Colorado State's on everybody's kind of in enough, I guess, 4 or 5 teams deep into the brackets. I don't think Colorado State's resume is a gimme. I mean, they had a really good non-conference win against Creighton, but they didn't do much in league play to really solidify their position in my estimation. And of course, UNM's right, either on the cut line or even outside the cut line at this point. It is a little interesting. I mean, so the Lobos haven't been in a decade now. It's been a long time since they've been to the tournament. But coming out of the Mountain West, we all know for a long time kind of how frustrating it is that like power conference schools or the big, the 500 team out of the SEC might get in, and then Mountain West schools for so long we're not getting in that conversation. Now we're in a position where I think people have heard so long talk of the 6-bid Mountain West and stuff like that, and how the Mountain West playing each other isn't hurting them like it used to. Now there's talks about like Indiana State being ahead of UNM because UNM's just a team out of the Mountain West that's their numbers, they game the numbers, and they're all so good. It's almost like the Mountain West is getting the treatment of, their 6th seed, which is New Mexico. Maybe shouldn't be in, but if you look at the numbers with a couple of the schools on that bubble, New Mexico is better than them, and they just kind of messed up down the stretch. And really, the Air Force loss is what's going to cost them the most. But they're a good team that just isn't in right now, so they better play themselves in.
The Jeff Grammer, Albuquerque Journal, with us on Jon and Jim. I'm glad you mentioned the Air Force loss because I see a little bit of irony, and tell me if you agree or disagree, that there's been this league-wide push, maybe outside of San Diego State, to expand the conference schedule from 18 to 20, so everyone plays everyone twice. Yet what could prevent a team from making the NCAA tournament is a home loss to Air Force. San Diego State didn't even play Air Force this year at home. And by the way, when they play someone like Air Force, it creates a scenario where you're either hurting your strength of schedule, or if you lose the game, it can really impact your NCAA tournament resume. Why is there such outcry in the league to balance out the schedule when it's clear and obvious to see there's at least a possibility by playing everyone twice, it actually can hurt your chances of making the tournament? Look at New Mexico.
Yeah, I think the first point of this is when they unveiled the 20, when they announced it, and the main quote, or the only quote really from the league, is that we're doing everything we can to enhance our chances at more NCAA and all that. I don't think that's what this is about really at all. I think it comes down to two things. One is it's not that the unbalanced schedule hasn't helped teams in the past based on the standings and seeding. It's just that this year it kind of came down to a championship game. And in fact, the last two games of the regular season, it was Utah State playing New Mexico, and it was Nevada playing the other game and UNLV, and Utah State played both of those schools only once each. So the unbalanced schedule gave Utah State an opportunity to win this league without going to Lawler, and without having to play UNLV. Those were the two hottest teams down the stretch. I mean, one of them has won 10 of 12, and one of them's won, I think, 11 of 12 or something at this point. So that was what the timing of all this was. I think people don't want that for the unbalanced. But what the bigger thing is what you're getting at is the non-conference part. I was able to talk for a story I actually did for the league's program media guide that they'll have at the tournament this week. I talked to Steve Fisher, and he said from day one, when we were trying to kind of make the Mountain West 25 years ago what we wanted it to become, part of what we had to do was try and get people to pay attention to us and look at us. And here's what we're doing. And the way you do that's in the non-conference schedule. So he said, his words were, admittedly, we at San Diego State wanted to have 16 games. Then they pushed it to 18. We fought to keep it at 16. Now it's going to go to 20. We wanted to go back to 16. We know we can get more good non-conference games that make people pay attention to our league. But the biggest thing out of all this is that it's just hard for Laramie. It's hard for the Pit too, but it's hard for Laramie. It's hard for some of these schools to get teams to come see them in the non-conference, and the budgets don't let them play as many road games as, people just say, well, it's easy, just go play somebody good. Well, UNM should have done a lot more of that. Maybe they wouldn't be in this position right now, but they also have to have 18 home games a year to make their budget, as long as football is losing them money. And to make 18 home games, you pretty much only get to play on the road a couple times in non-conference. So it's really hard for them to I guess, get a really good home games at this point. And that's what part of the decision was too, was finances.
Why'd you vote Jaden Ledee for Mountain West Conference Player of the Year?
I don't think it was close to me. I don't want to make it sound like it wasn't a second. Second to me would have been Great Osabar. I've never been one too high on the best team for the best, or the best player from the best team, or something like that. Or the league champion has to have the player of the year. I get the argument, and if it is close, I might lean that way. But this was a year to me that I think there was one player significantly better than the rest, and it was Jaden Ledee. I think a lot of that comes down to when you see teams unable to defend him. Now, this is controversial because some people will say he gets away with a lot. Some people in San Diego, I'm sure, say that he gets fouled on every play, kind of the Shaq treatment, where they're not calling half the fouls. So it comes down to officiating with him. And when I see 10 teams in the league not knowing how to play the guy without fouling, I just see a guy that's dominating the league. And that's sort of, 10 years ago, I covered here Cam Bairstow, his senior season. He was at the free throw line all season long, and came down to basically him and Xavier Thames that year when for the player of the year. But I just didn't see any Xavier Thames on another team. I didn't really see it as close between two players like that. I saw Jaden Ledee this year not being able to get defended without teams fouling him like crazy, and it just wasn't close.
So what happens tomorrow? So there's a media vote. This is somewhat unique, not fully unique, but in the league, the media members vote, and Jaden Ledee is the player of the year. Then the coaches vote, which I do believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, is the official player of the year award per the league. What do you expect? Not that anyone has seen it, but what do you expect to happen tomorrow?
I don't know that people in San Diego are going to be as happy as they are with the media, which is a rarity. I would expect Utah State to maybe they'll go maybe it'll be Jaden and one of the Utah State guys, either Darius Brown or Gray Osabar. But I would really expect the coaches to sort of rally behind the idea of the league champion is supposed to have the best player or be honored and recognized as such. So I would think one of the two Utah State guys gets honored, and maybe it'll be a a co-player of the year, but at best for Jaden. But in my mind, I really think it was clear. Now, I'll remind you, San Diego State finishes as a 5 seed this year, gets player of the year in the media award. It's not like that's never happened before. Just a year ago, both the coaches and the media picked Amari Moore from 5th place San Jose State team. So it has happened before, but last year there just really wasn't one player that stood out. This year it's clear. There's one player who stands out. He just happens to be from a team that's in the 5 seed spot. And also this is a unique year where 1 through 6 or 1 through 7 rather, you can pick any one of those 7 teams and look at the metrics, and they're all within about 15 spots, maybe 20 spots in Ken Palm and net and all that. These teams are so close. It's not like you're picking a team that isn't even close to the other teams. Like, you could pick a player from any one of those teams and say those teams are pretty close to each other. So I really think Jaden should get it. I just tomorrow don't think he will, not alone anyway.
Good segue to our final question, which is, like you said, a lot of balance within this league, a lot of NCAA tournament caliber teams in this league. Will the Mountain West get a team, one or more teams, to the Sweet 16?
Ooh, good one. I'll lean towards the homer pick and say yes.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that this year so far hasn't really disappointed, and it's been good competition throughout. And I think it hasn't just been a lot of. I mean, there is the balance and a lot of good games because of balance, but it's not balance because they're all entirely mediocre. I don't think there's a whole bunch of top 15 to 20 level talent teams on this necessarily, but a whole bunch of in the 20s. And if you play the numbers, I think you put in 3-4 teams, 5 teams that maybe get to that second round, where it's then one win away. I think one of them should be able to do it. So I'm going to say yes. But I'll tell you the game I'm looking forward to most, and that's if tomorrow, if that coaches poll says it's somebody at Utah State, I want to see that semifinal in the Mountain West tournament and between Utah State and San Diego State and see if Jaden McD doesn't go for 30.
Well, yeah, I think Aztec fans want to make sure San Diego State's able to take care of UNLV potentially. This whole thing, it's crazy because you look at the Mountain West tournament odds, and maybe San Diego State's a favorite because they've had so much success in this tournament. Shoot, come Thursday against UNLV, it's a bit of a coin flip. Yeah. I mean, they might be a 2-point favorite in that game heading into Thursday. Jeff, we're looking forward to it. I know you'll be out there because New Mexico actually starts on Wednesday, but we'll see you out in Las Vegas, and always appreciate your time in San Diego.
It's going to be a fun one, man. Thanks for having me on.
Looking forward to it. Jeff Grammer, Albuquerque Journal. It is. I mean, it's going to be, like you said, banner year is what it's been for the Mountain West. San Diego State's been very good, but they're not the only team that's been very good. There's been a lot of teams that have had similar seasons. If you're going to be fair about it, there's a lot of teams that have similar seasons.
And I think it's a credit to San Diego State's run here over the last 2 decades to get the Mountain West Conference to this point.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
And also credit to all these schools for putting all the resources that they've had into making, their basketball teams a priority, right? All these schools could be like, it's whatever,
Yep.
It's San Diego State's the class of the group. It's fine. No, they all went out and had a goal of overtaking San Diego State. And it's really shown in this conference how many good players there are, how many good teams there are.
Right.
I mean, all of these games are incredible. And so a credit to everybody in the Mountain West Conference, but I think it starts with San Diego State elevating everybody up to a level that is viewed as one of the top conferences in the country.
Have we even mentioned, other than in your updates, the news today that San Diego has been awarded a G League franchise? This is for a new arena in Oceanside.
Yeah.
So Northern San Diego County, obviously the northern tip. This arena isn't open as of yet. It will be this summer. This team will move there this fall. The G League is the affiliate for an NBA club. So right now they're in Ontario, California. They're going to move to San Diego. They'll be affiliated with the Clippers. What's your reaction here? I don't have much reaction, if I'm being honest. And we knew about this because of a media advisory, so I've known about this for a couple of days. I don't have a lot of reaction other than this. The G League hasn't necessarily cut through the way other minor league sports have in America. Minor league baseball has been massive for decades. You could argue AHL hockey has had popularity in a number of markets, including San Diego. The G League hasn't really resonated. Unless I'm missing something somewhere, it doesn't feel like it's been something that's really resonated.
There's nothing like an NBA team leaving town decades ago and then eventually having that same team that left give that city a minor league team.
Are there even examples of that? It's been so. They left when? 84. 40 years ago is my point. Something like that.
Maybe that 44 decades ago.
So it's been a while.
The big difference between like baseball minor leagues and like the G League is, if Xander Bogaerts tweaks his ankle, he might go to Lake Elsinore for a couple rehab starts. If Kawhi Leonard tweaks his ankle, he's not coming down to the San Diego G League Clippers for a couple rehab starts on his ankle. So, minor league baseball, there's a chance that you might get to see an established Major League Baseball player that's there on a rehab start or something like that. That doesn't work on the G League. You're going to see guys that were on the bench of some national title team that weren't good enough to get drafted. And
this is going to be kind of a hot take, but I don't really care.
A hot G League take. I'm here for it.
Jim already bought season tickets.
Yeah, no, I'm here for this because I don't know where you could go.
I think it's kind of embarrassing. And hear me out.
Okay, I need to hear you out.
This city is so amazing. San Diego, whoever you talk to, right? What do they always say? That doesn't live here. Dude,
that's great.
That's great.
You live here.
You get to live in San Diego. I'm so jealous.
Yeah, no doubt.
You visit San Diego. If you don't live here, it's like, I don't want to go back. I want to stay. Love this city. The weather, the people, the food, the atmosphere, everything about it.
Okay.
Top notch.
Okay.
Because of that, this city deserves top notch. They have the Padres, which is the highest level you can get in baseball, Major League. Aztecs, highest level you can get in basketball, to a sense of like they are very, very successful, made a national championship. They're in a situation where they can win a national championship any year. Football, it's getting to a point, right, in college where
they have the facility, certainly.
And the facility is top notch for a college level.
Yep.
Okay. Chargers, they left. And it's embarrassing from a standpoint of this town deserves the top notch. And to just get awarded a G League team and have it be viewed as like this great thing, I'm sorry, it's minor leagues. This town does not deserve to be labeled as a minor league town.
I don't disagree with anything you said. I need to say this. You're more the merrier guy, I thought.
I am more the merrier guy, but I am more the merrier as far as top of the like elite, like MLS is coming to town. That's great. NWSL, that's great. Those are the top of soccer in this country.
I agree.
Okay. You have the Aztecs, top of the level as far as college basketball and college football. Now there's opportunity with the facility and everything, right? And then Padres. Okay. I'm sorry. When I view the Clippers, I don't view them as a team, a San Diego team. Why name them the Clippers? Name them something different. That this when you tell me
hot takes here.
When you tell me San Diego Clippers,
right?
I'm like, what? Name them something that resonates at least with San Diego.
Okay, if they were the San Diego Sunsets,
weren't they the San Diego Clippers to start with before
they moved?
They were, but that to me, it's
You're
like
saying it's that's fine. Okay, but hear me out. That's fine. If that's how you say. But what if they're the San Diego Pandas? Because of the return of the Pandas to San Diego.
I still would feel the same way, honestly. It's like it moves the needle for me. It doesn't even like it's flatline. It doesn't move the needle for me at all.
Right.
Doesn't move the neneedle for me.
No, I understand. I'm not
Oceanside, which is still San Diego County, but like I mean, I don't know.
The thing is, it's hard to get. Here's the thing.
It doesn't do anything for me. Well, I think it's kind of embarrassing.
Are we embarrassed by the goals?
No.
You know what I mean?
But it's not like the Anaheim Ducks, who that's their affiliate, was the San Diego Ducks. and then moved to Anaheim.
Okay, so if that's the reason,
no,
I understand. If that's
San Diego their minor league team,
you're gonna hold a 40-year grudge on the Clippers.
If the Chargers
but it's different, isn't it? It's different
from the Chargers.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just making an example of like. I still view it as a team leaving San Diego, which is factual. Which is factual.
Absolutely.
And then, here's our minor league team.
I mean, there are 3 owners on, right?
I don't know, dude. It doesn't move the needle for me at all.
It's fine, but I mean, I could offer my opinion.
I know.
Yeah, it's a very hot take in the G League. I don't disagree. I'm not saying, hey, they're going to sell 16,000 seats every night, and this is going to be the NBA on steroids in San Diego.
It's a 7,000 seat.
But here's the thing: what can you ask for? The NBA and the NHL. We've had this conversation, the blue in the face conversation.
Yeah.
Well, the NBA is not coming. The NHL isn't coming. So get rid of the goals and get rid of the G League as a result. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it just doesn't do anything for me.
I understand. I don't think. Listen, that's my point. I don't think they're selling out every single game. I don't think all of a sudden this is San Diego State Aztecs.
No,
of the G League. But I'm not like, I don't know. I don't have maybe as much vitriol. Like you said, it's a hot take. I don't really have an opinion either way on it. There's a lot of smaller franchises in San Diego. I feel like a lot of different franchises have tried to consume the spot of the Chargers. Like, Chargers gone, let's add everything else up. We've had professional lacrosse. We have professional hockey. We have professional basketball. Everyone's tried to backfill this space, this void. I think some to a level of, some have had more success than others. Look at the Wave. We'll see about SDFC. The Loyal obviously had a level of success, not top tier of American soccer, for example. So I feel like there's been a lot of backfilling attempts, and some have had more success than others.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just think if it was a
different team, if it was the Lakers and it was their G League team and they were called the Pandas or whatever, you would have a different tune?
Maybe.
I would have the same tune, which is it's a G League.
It's whatever.
I've watched the G League.
G League talent. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong, but for me, a G League team in Oceanside that is the Clippers G League team, named the Clippers, which is associated with LA. Okay.
No, I hear you. All right, on the other side, we're going to get to the wrap. Also, this hour, your chance to win tickets to, we'll give tickets away to the car show, right, Brent? Should we do that this hour for Trainwreck Radio? We will. All right, America's favorite car show returns to Del Mar. This is going to be April 5th through the 7th. So we'll give those tickets away coming up later this hour. The wrap on the other side. Stay with us on Jon and Jim. All right, imagine waking up this time next week and being 100% debt-free. No credit cards, no car loan, no personal loan. Hey, guys, it's Schaefer. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit can make it happen. Homeowners are turning their home equity into cash almost instantly. With Loan Pronto's AI-based system, you can get approval in about 10 minutes with almost no documentation, no appraisal, and no hassle. You can get hundreds of thousands of dollars out of your home. Use that money to pay off all your other loans. The average homeowner saves $850 a month doing that. Think about that. Listen, your home value is way up. You can use that to wipe out all those credit cards, get some money for home improvement. Literally hundreds of thousands are at your fingertips, and approval is just minutes away. Call now or write this number down. 619-207-4336. 619-207-4336. Or loanpronto.com, 619-207-4336, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, equal housing lender. All right, JD Gaucho. Thank you for the super chat. Guys, he said, if you want to weigh in with the super chat, we'll get to them all during our break. So we appreciate that. He says in New Mexico, his alma mater, UCSB, was supposed to be a fringe top 25 team this season. That's probably a little bit extreme, isn't it? And they laid an egg, not New Mexico's fault. We're dragging them down. Yeah, but every program in America is impacted by that. Nobody knew Utah State was going to be good, and they're really good. So San Diego State's impacted by that. New Mexico's impacted by that. Truth of the matter is this: New Mexico beats Air Force at home during the NCAA tournament, and they lost. So that's the truth of the matter. Everyone's impacted by that variance in the non-conference or between one year and the next. So my 2 cents on it. You know me; I'm very outspoken when it comes to scheduling as it is. But New Mexico's got work to do. If they win a couple games in Vegas, they'll be in the NCAA tournament. If they don't, they'll be in the NIT. JD Gatcho, appreciate you, man. We'll be back in a moment.
All right, this update is brought to you by Taco Bell. Padres will start there. They announced today that Yu Darvish will open up the season in Korea versus the Dodgers, as Tyler Glasnow will take on him in Game 1, followed by Yamamoto taking on Joe Musgrove in Game 2. Also, Cactus League play today. They beat up on the Seattle Mariners 13-3. Jackson Merrill went 3 for 4 today with a home run and an RBI double. Aztecs, they'll take on UNLV this Thursday as they open up their Mountain West Conference tournament play. 2:30 p.m. You can listen to that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. NFL free agent frenzy today. Kirk Cousins going to the Falcons, Saquon Barkley to the Eagles, Josh Jacobs to the Packers, and Austin Eckler going to the Commanders. And we just announced it or talked about it. Clippers are sending their G League team to San Diego. They'll be called the San Diego Clippers. They'll be in Oceanside, moving down from Ontario. Taco Bell's new Cravings Value Menu is a big deal, or rather it's 10 big deals, from new items like the loaded nachos to familiar favorites like the spicy potato soft taco. Check it out at our participating Taco Bell today. Available for a limited time only while supplies last.
Korea. He will start the opener for the Padres.
I've never been to Korea.
You haven't been to like
I'm guessing
Phoenix.
80% of the team is never been to Korea.
Well, I know, but you got some Korean-born players like Bill.
I know. I'm just saying, with the exception of like those
Korean.
three.
Yeah. So anyway, he's never been there. The Japanese prime minister is expected to be in attendance.
Oh, cool.
For these 2 games. He said he would have liked to face off against Yamamoto, but anticipates the opportunity to do it during the regular season.
The Japanese prime minister wanted to square off against Yamamoto.
I think Yu Darvish.
Oh,
But potentially both.
Makes
Potentially
sense.
both.
Makes sense.
Darvish on Monday was effusive in his praise for Korean fans.
The closer we get to opening day, man, those days are going to feel long.
Well, that's because the games are at 3 a.m. Yeah,
I know.
Normally we're sleeping.
Because watching those games, having a watch party on the wrap-up show for those days, and then having our show, Jon and Jim, at 3 o'clock, it's going to just be a weird, wonky day.
What's Jim's day going to be like on those things? Are you going to
tough.
go to bed at like 7:30 at night so you can get up at 3 a.m. and watch the game?
Or
and
just
then
not
go
gonna
back
sleep.
take a nap at 7 when they're done?
I'll need to sleep before.
Yeah, I'll probably sleep.
Because I could stay up until 3, but I can't stay up till like 5.
Right. You'll just be, yeah.
And then if I stay up till 5 or 5:30, whenever the game ends.
It's way
And
past. He keeps saying that. It's like if the game ends at 5, the game's getting at 6:30.
Yeah, it'll be probably 7.
Yeah, I can't stay up.
Game.
I can't stay up at that time. I'll just be asleep on our YouTube live stream.
Yeah, probably. And then you'll be asleep during Jon and Jim. You're right. It's
That's
like,
like a new-
whatever it is going to be fine.
That's like a new thing nowadays, is to watch people sleep on a
I'm
live
sure
stream.
it'll be very popular with our channel.
Very popular.
Huge.
Massive.
All right, let's get to this.
I think it's kind of rhetorical, but is Thursday's San Diego State UNLV game a must-win game for the Aztecs?
To make the NCAA tournament, no. But to try to get like the highest seed they possibly can get, yes. Which, as of right now, unless they win the Mountain West Conference tournament, is what, a 5-6 seed?
Yeah, in the NCAA tournament, if
Yeah.
they don't, I mean, they'll be a 5 or 6 seed.
Yeah. So if they win the Mountain West Conference tournament, what do you
They'll
think?
be a 5 seed, is my guess.
So no matter what, like
No,
probably a
I think
5.
if they lose to UNLV, they could be a 6 seed, maybe an outside shot.
So if they
lower than
win
that.
one game, they're a 5. If they
Or a
win the
6.
tournament, they're a 5. So then it doesn't matter.
I don't
that doesn't
know.
make sense.
I mean, nobody knows.
That's
That's the
true.
thing. We don't know before or after.
I think if they win the Mountain West Conference tournament, there's an outside shot they could get a 4 seed. But if they lose in any of the first game or second game, then it's probably like a 5 or 6, right? So I'll say yes. To get the best seed possible, it's a must-win game on Thursday.
My guess is if they win the Mountain West tournament, they won't be a 4 seed. That's my guess. I do think if they win the Mountain West tournament, they'll be a 5 seed at the worst. I don't think they have to win the Mountain West tournament to be a 5 seed either. I think they're basically playing for a 5 or a 6 seed. That's, again, I'm not a bracketologist. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. They're not in the room, so we have no idea. We'll see what they're seeded come Sunday. I do know this. It's a must-win to win the Mountain West tournament. You can't. It's not a double elimination tournament.
True.
So to win the Mountain West tournament and to hang a banner, they need to win on Thursday against UNLV. Next question.
Who will start opening day at Petco Park for the Padres?
Joe Musgrove. There was a little
seems to be the front runner.
right. There was talk about Joe starting not only game 2 in Korea, but then being ready to go by opening day here in San Diego. I know we talked about maybe not pushing them right away just because they're coming off injury and how long it's been since they've actually pitched, in a game that counts, right? They did pitch this spring, obviously, but still, I think you gotta try to ride these guys as much as you can this year. They can't afford to not have Yu Darvish and Joe Musgrove like
as much as possible.
Right.
It's a fine line. It's like if you want him to go from 100 innings to 190 innings, I do too.
Mm-hmm.
But
he's done that before. So it's not like something he's never done.
Who's done that before?
Joe.
True. No doubt. But last year it was under 100 innings.
Right.
So to say, hey, I need I need 2 starts from you before April 1st.
But this ain't Michael King where he's never even eclipsed 120.
No, you're right. You're right. I mean, the truth is you want your best pitchers pitching as often as possible. It's as simple as that. You don't normally have a way to do that, to maneuver, or I don't even know what the right word would be, like take advantage of the system, but you do this year because you play 2 games, then have a week off. There's only 2 teams in baseball that can do that. So you can game the system. So the best way to do that is to give 2 additional starts to Darvish and Musgrove. So that's my expectation for what they do. I'm just crossing my fingers that they can make 32, 33 starts after the seasons they just had.
And we both agree they have to get out to kind of a good start.
Right. So
they don't
more
have
reason
to
pitch Darvish and Musgrove.
It would be much, needed to get out to a good start.
Absolutely. Next question.
Well, Jackson Merrill finished top 3 for Rookie of the Year.
So who are the
Only top 3?
What should I put down? Top 2?
Win the Rookie of the Year.
Does Jackson Merrill?
Does anyone name one candidate?
Yamamoto.
Oh, that's a good one. Of course, he's like 7 years older, right?
Right, but still, he's a rookie.
Yeah.
Jung-Hoo Lee.
Yeah, he's 7 years older.
But he's a rookie.
Yep. So then it won't be easy, is the point.
But if you finish top 3, then something went right.
Yes.
So I'll continue with my cautious optimism on Jackson Merrill, and I'll say he'll finish top 3.
I say no. Okay. Next question.
Is the first day of NFL free agency more exciting than the entire baseball offseason?
100%, not even close.
It has been
100%, not even close.
If you're an NFL fan, yeah.
NFL, NBA, they do a fantastic job in their off seasons of making sure they stay the top story on SportsCenter, on the news feeds, on the timelines, everything. Baseball loves to just kick themselves in the groin and just say, you know what, we'll take a back seat. Like, how can you still have the Cy Young Award winner be a free agent?
Yeah, well, like, this is day 1. So this is the day 1 baseball equivalent of someone like Bellinger signing. The day 1 baseball equivalent of someone like Snell signing. You've had massive signings today.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley isn't just some guy.
No.
Like, if you had the Saquon Barkley of baseball signed today, by the way, that is like a
Cody
Snell.
Bellinger.
Yeah, or like highs and low guy. Like at his best has been really good. At his worst hasn't been very good. Gets a lot of discussion. These guys are still out there.
It's ridiculous. Jordan Montgomery
is still out there.
Dude, NFL is so on top of it that they made announcements before free agency even officially begins. Because, starting Friday and Saturday, they started leaking out, so-and-so, like Russell Wilson to the Steelers leaked out on Saturday. Baseball would never do that. NFL is like, technically there's like a week till free agency starts, but we're cool with everyone just leaking what's going to happen in a week.
It just makes me so mad because I love baseball so much that they just try to do everything in their power to take a back seat whenever they can, instead of trying to evolve and get in front of things and be the top of the sports like talking points of when their free agency starts. It's just so stupid. And it's the owners and it's the agents, and they're making baseball as boring in the offseason as they possibly can.
You're right. But I'll equate it to this. Like, most people love their families. Not everyone. You love your family, right?
I do.
Are they perfect? Like, you know what I mean? Like, do you see them? Like, there's some things that you're like, Mom, why do we do this? I'll use my family.
That's different.
I know, but at the end of the day, you love them. It's the same thing with baseball. It's very flawed.
For players, I feel that way. Like for Tatis, like when he got suspended, we talked about that.
But I feel that way for the sport. I'm not turning away from it. Now, I don't think they're growing. I'm not
turning away from it either.
I'm not turning away from it no matter what dumb decision they make as a sport.
I know. We're not turning away from it.
That's why it's like family.
But doesn't it make you upset? Like, from a standpoint of like, dude,
I wish they could do more to get out of their own way. I wish they could grow the sport to be more like the NBA.
Right.
They're never going to be the NFL. Can you get close to the NBA? It doesn't seem overly likely.
Good job, Rob Manfred.
Yeah,
God, he can't,
I know, but I'm with you. It's not
perfect.
Here's what I know. In our lifetimes, dude, it's never going to be perfect. Like, this sport's so archaic.
But here's the thing, though, John. was pretty much
it was a big deal like 40 years ago.
The big deal in the 90s and the late 90s and the early 2000s. And it just kind of fell off a cliff nationally to where now it's a regional sport.
Definitely.
And that's where it's like frustrating because they're just getting overtaken and they're not even trying, it feels like.
If they want advice, they can, we should start a consulting business.
Oh, yeah, okay.
We can charge them $100 an hour, maybe more.
Yeah.
All right, call right now if you want 2 free tickets to the...
Don't we have one more question?
Call right now. We could get to it another time. Do we have another question?
We did.
We have a 5th question?
No, 4. Oh, wait.
That was 4. Jim.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong rap.
I remember my first time.
I'm looking at the rap that you had from on Friday.
Oh, okay.
Will anyone in Jim's bachelor party get arrested?
That on the other side.
Who wants 2 free tickets to the Southern California car show at the Del Mar Fairgrounds, April 5th through the 7th?
My bad.
877-767-4760. You need to call right now. 2 free tickets. This is America's favorite car show returning to the old Del Mar Fairgrounds, April 5th through the 7th. Great giveaway. Call right now if you want those tickets. Trainwreck Radio. You need to play trivia. First 2 callers will be our contestants. 877-767-4760. That's next. All right, call right now if you want to play Matt for a chance to win 2 free tickets to the car show coming to the Del Mar Fairgrounds April 5th through the 7th. This is a great event, a great car show. The number to call, 877-767-4760. We have 2 free tickets to the car show coming to Del Mar April 5th through the 7th. Call right now if you want a chance to win those tickets. Great giveaway, 877-767-4760. Call now. We have another giveaway, Jim. That would be the Shamrock St. Patty's Day Music and Beer Festival.
Oh, baby.
Okay, by the way, St. Patrick's Day
Is this weekend.
right? Yeah, what day? 17th.
That's on Sunday.
So you're wrapping up that's Selection Sunday.
That is correct.
Selection Sunday is Shamrock Edition.
Correct.
I'm down for that.
Now, remind me again when selection.
What time?
Yeah, what happens?
3 p.m. Pacific. What happens? They pick the teams.
No,
But no, it's at 3 p.m. And you can hear it right here on San Diego Sports
that's
760.
where I was going with it. Is
3 to 6.
That's right.
Yep. So
3 hours of bracket breakdown.
Will you
Jim
be listening?
Russell and Jonathan Rifkin. Commercial-free coverage. John and Jim Rifkin edition.
Jonathan would actually be pretty good at breaking down like.
I like how you said that, like he'd actually be as if he's not good at other things.
No,
he'd actually be pretty good at that.
No, I meant like he'd be good at that. Like he would do,
absolutely.
I think he'd do well, like breaking down.
You can't break down the Longwood first round matchup?
Not if I tried.
Okay.
Not even if I I could fake it, but wouldn't sound good if you knew anything about what I was talking about.
We know. All right, let's get to
it. Welcome to Jon and Jim every day.
All right, 3 questions, 2 contestants, 1 lifeline. Today's 2 contestants, we have Matt and we have Curtis. Matt, you called in first, so you have your choice of John or Jim. Who do you want to go with?
Let's go with John.
Okay, Matt and John.
Curtis, you get me, okay?
Sounds good, buddy.
All right.
Oh, you guys are boys.
Brent, what's the question of the day?
All right, guys. Russell Wilson is the newest Steeler now. Did you know that Russell Wilson's longest completed pass last year went for 60 yards?
Huh.
Today's question: can you name the 7 quarterbacks that completed a pass of 80 or more yards last season?
Ew.
So there were 7 quarterbacks that had a completion of at least 80 yards or more. Name them.
Easy, right?
Oh,
you remember all those passes?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
All right, Curtis, you're up first. What's your first guess? You'd have a lifeline if you want to use it.
Tua.
Tua have one for 80.
Very good guess.
It is.
Is he on the list?
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Runs far. No,
What?
it's no 80-yard touchdown passes.
Matt with
He had a 78.
Oh, he's terrible.
Oh, it sucks.
Yep.
Loser. Cut him. Matt, you're up next. What's your first guess? You do have a lifeline if you want
Let's
to.
go with Josh Allen.
Josh Allen.
Wow.
On the list.
He knew. He didn't
Just
want to
right
hear
away.
you. He just
Yeah.
boom.
Shut up.
Yep. Shut up,
Curtis, you're up next. What is your second guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes. I don't know. On the list.
No.
He was Mr. Dink and
Wow.
Dunk last year, by the way. Did you know that?
Oh, that's right.
Just like Brock
Yeah.
Purdy was Mr.
Yes.
Dink and Dunk.
Yeah.
Matt, you're up next. You could win it right here with the correct answer. What is your final
Okay.
or second guess? You have a
I
lifeline
have
if you
one
want
quarterback in mind, but I'm going to use the lifeline.
Lifeline? Okay.
Yeah.
Just sit over here and do nothing. What do you got, John?
I mean, I have no idea.
Name a
I
quarterback.
will say Lamar Jackson, which is not the greatest guess you wouldn't think, but he had a great year.
He was the MVP. Did you know that?
Yes.
Yeah, I actually was thinking Lamar too, so I'll go with that.
Lamar. Yay, we win. How about that? Mr. NFL John comes through with the win.
What?
What? He can't complete a pass for 80 yards? Lamar Jackson? I had the right lifeline. Who would you have said?
Lamar Jackson.
Is Brock Purdy on the list?
No.
Okay, I was wondering. He has good skill around him, even though he's Dink and Dunk guy.
Totally.
Mahomes' longest pass this year was 67 yards.
Oh, wow.
That is interesting. All right, who's on the list, Brett?
Oh, and Purdy's just for S's and G's was 76.
Oh, terrible. I'm not
Hey.
extending Purdy at a 76-yard touchdown pass.
The longest pass of the year went to Dak. He had a 92-yarder. Then Mason Rudolph had an 86-yarder.
They don't need Russell.
Exactly. Josh Allen had an 81. Jake Browning had an 80. Lamar had an 80. Stafford had an 80. And then Tyrod Taylor also had an 80.
Tyrod Taylor had an
Yes.
80-yard touchdown pass a year ago
Yes.
in the NFL. All right, Matt, congratulations. You have won tickets to America's favorite car show, returning to Old Del Mar for Southern California's biggest hot rodding event of the spring. It's the Good Guys 23rd Del Mar Nationals, and it's all happening April 5th through the 7th. At Del Mar, check out over 2,500 of Southern California's coolest hot rods, muscle cars, trick trucks, lowriders, and more. For complete details and to register your vehicle or purchase tickets, visit good-guys.com, like the word good,
Yes.
-guys.com.
Say that again.
Good
Yes.
dash,
Like the word good.
but then like the dash,
Like spelled GOOD.
right, and then dash,
And
but
then
not
a dash,
DASH.
And then guys, GUYS.com. Wow.
April 5th through the 7th. Your chance to win tickets all week long here on Jon and Jim. All right, hour 3, we have another giveaway for you. The Shamrock St. Patty's Day Music and Beer Festival tickets for this weekend. We'll give those away coming up next hour. Also, back to the Padres on the other side. They leave for Korea in 2 days. Are there looming questions still about this roster or not? Plus, we're getting you ready for this week's Mountain West Tournament in Las Vegas, a critical week for San Diego State coming up with Selection Sunday less than a week away. It's hour 3 of Jon and Jim next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Taco Bell. We'll start with the Aztecs. Their Mountain West Conference tournament play gets underway. They start on Thursday, 2:30 tip-off time versus UNLV. Of course, you can listen to that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. Padres news today. Mike Schilt announced the starters for the Korea series. Yu Darvish will start game 1 versus Tyler Glasnow. Joe Musgrove will start game 2 versus Yamamoto. NFL free agent frenzy today. A couple big names on the move. Kirk Cousins going to the Falcons. Saquon Barkley to the Eagles. Josh Jacobs to the Packers. And the Clippers announced their new G League team today. The San Diego Clippers will be in Oceanside from Ontario next season. Taco Bell's new Cravings Value menu is a big deal, or rather, it's 10 big deals from new items like the loaded nachos to familiar favorites like the spicy potato soft taco. Check it out at a participating Taco Bell today. Available for limited time only while supplies last.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Final hour of Jon and Jim. This hour, by the way, your chance to win tickets to the Shamrock St. Patty's Day Music and Beer Festival, which is coming up this weekend, March 16th. So that's Saturday. We have 2 free tickets. We'll let you know when to call. We'll give those away, again, coming up later this hour. Now, we'll get back to the Padres, who are heading for Korea in 48 hours.
Well, less than that now, right?
Yes, maybe 47. Somewhere in that range.
Probably. I don't know when their flight leaves on Wednesday.
Could be 46 hours.
Yeah.
But before we do that, you had a very impassioned take. Hot, you called it.
I just don't have any intrigue in a G League team up in Oceanside.
Intrigue or interest?
Interest, sorry.
Okay, yeah.
I don't have any interest in a G League team in Oceanside that is an affiliate of the LA Clippers called the San Diego Clippers, when the Clippers were once here 40 years ago and now they dumped off their minor league team to San Diego. I have no interest in it, like whatsoever. Like, unless Kawhi decides to play for the San Diego Clippers in Oceanside, then that's great.
That'd be controversial.
Then I will watch and I will
the whole season there.
Then I will buy season tickets. But it just does nothing. It like moves the needle for me. Like,
but what did you want to react to? Because you're mad about what?
Oh, I'm not mad. I just saw this comment in our chat on YouTube from Ivan. He says, Jim, you're so off with the G League Clippers. With your G League Clippers take, that's how we know you're not a true San Diegan. San Diego's Clippers name is nostalgic to us. We'll take any sports team at this point. Come on, Jim. So it's nostalgic to you, but they said, screw you, we're leaving to LA. That's how it's nostalgic to you?
But that...
And then he goes and says...
I mean, it's been 40 years.
Yeah, Jim, with takes like that, you'll never be accepted as a true San Diegan. Sorry, let me just get on my knees for every single sports team that is in San Diego. My bad. My bad. Let's just bring all the minor league teams to San Diego. Screw it. All the minor league teams.
I mean, again, I'm not going to defend Ivan's take. I have heard before about, the more teams, professional sports teams in San Diego, the better.
Yes, I did say professional sports teams. But then you start thinking about it and it's like, okay, now we're just getting a bunch of minor league teams. Like, I didn't mean just minor league teams. I meant like the top of the list. Like, yes, MLS. You might not like soccer. That's fine. But guess what? MLS is the pro league with soccer here. It's not a minor league team. Mm-hmm. NWSL, pro league, one of the biggest women soccer players in the world plays here in San Diego, and Alex Morgan. Mm-hmm. You could argue that her popularity, that she's the most popular athlete in town globally.
Oh,
Alex
yeah,
Morgan.
She's right there. Yeah, absolutely.
The Padres have superstars.
Sure.
Okay. San Diego State was just in a national championship game. College is different than professional.
Sure.
The G League. Okay.
My opinion on it is I just don't have any opinion on it yet because I don't have a strong opinion on it. There's other professional sports teams here, which, again, some are consumed more widely than others. Maybe they all have a space and maybe they all have a fan base that they can turn to. Like you said, the Wave have been more popular than, name a franchise that has not been the Wave. But yeah, I mean, I don't have a strong opinion.
It would be different if the Clippers weren't formally.
Okay, if this was the Warriors.
Okay.
So the Warriors affiliate, the G League affiliate, San Diego Warriors.
be like that, but okay.
Why not? It's not that far off.
Why would they have a G League team? Well, I guess
Why not? I mean, who cares?
Who cares? I know what you're saying.
So let's say it was the Lakers or the Sacramento Kings. Sacramento Kings G League team was here and they called them the Kings. Or whatever they called them.
Right.
Does that change your tune?
It would change my tune knowing that like it's the Kings never the NBA team was never here. The Clippers NBA team was here. Now that's well before my time here, well before your time.
You weren't born when they left.
I know, I wasn't. So I have no recollection of
you don't remember
an NBA team being called the San Diego Clippers.
Right.
But it was a thing. It did happen.
If you were a true San Diegan, you
Oh,
would remember before you were born.
That's right.
Yes.
If I was
you
a
were
true
older
San Diegan. Oh, my bad.
Born here, you would have remembered.
If I told my mom when I was
It would have
in
been
her
implanted
belly,
in the womb.
If you told your mom 10 years earlier to have you.
I'm like, Mom, you need to make sure I'm born and raised in San Diego.
And make sure I'm born by like 83.
Right,
The team's leaving in 84.
Yeah, get married to my dad 10
years earlier.
10 years earlier. Yeah, find each other way before so I can make sure Ivan on our YouTube chat in 35 years will call me a true San Diegan.
So dumb. It is very dumb. That's what makes it.
Nothing makes me more irritated than stupid people saying you're not a true San Diegan.
Well, then you chose the wrong profession.
I probably did.
It's not. First of all, no. As in, my point is this: everyone's got opinions, including us. Everyone's entitled to their opinions. As in, we have to be able to deal with people's opinions. Is my point.
True.
But I would say this:
and I have pretty thick skin. Would you say?
You do actually. But some things get under your skin that do not get under mine.
Some things do.
Other things get under my skin, like when I said Shohei Ohtani sucked, and then like the Japanese media went after me.
Right.
But Rich McGuire, what about like an angle like this? It doesn't have to be Jaden Ledee, but it could be Nathan Mensah, Jaden Ledee, Lamont Butler. Name them. Reese Waters. What if Jaden Ledee gets drafted by the Clippers and he plays for the G League team?
Okay. Now, that's a fantastic point.
Yeah. Things like that probably can happen
because I'm blanking on his name. And
Jordan Shackle?
Jordan Shackle.
He's been in the G League for the better part of the last 3 years.
Correct. That's a good point that I didn't think about. But from just like the overall standpoint of a G League team here, being that it is the Clippers G League team, I think what makes it, and that they're called the Clippers, because they're trying to probably tap into hey, remember when the NBA team was here 40 years ago?
Anymore.
Well, guess what? Now you're a minor league team.
Can I just say this one thing? We can move on to the Padres because we don't need to spend an hour on the G League Clippers that are coming in like 7 months or whatever.
Right.
But can I just make this overall point about the G League? A small part of me is surprised it's never caught on more. And let me just explain why. College basketball is pretty popular, not the NBA. Mm-hmm. NCAA tournament obviously is huge. But like the players in the G League were some of the really recognizable names of college basketball. I'll give you an example. I just looked up the Ontario Clippers roster, and they got a lot of recognizable names from college basketball. A lot. If you're a college basketball fan, you'd see players from Michigan, Michigan State, UNLV, names you would know, okay, are on their team. Bryson Williams, Texas Tech. Ooh. A lot of guys that have played in the NBA. If you watch college basketball, you would know these. I'm telling you this right now. The names in the G League are way more recognizable than the players in A-ball. Right? Like, it's way more recognizable. If you went to Lake Elsinore against, name a team, I don't know who's in the Cal League, Visalia, I don't even know if they're around anymore. You got a better chance of knowing the name of someone on the G League team than you have a chance of knowing a player on Visalia. Yet, the G League, for whatever reason, hasn't broken through.
It just, I don't know why.
Yeah, it's
even though they do have G League players in like the dunk contest now because they can't get any
Didn't
NBA
the dude
players.
win it this year?
Mac McClung. Yeah, he won like last year. Back-to-back
years. He won it this year.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. It just.
Would you like to? Would your opinion change if the San Diego Clipper player won the dunk contest next year? All right, Padres are leaving for Korea in.
Everyone would love that.
Oh my gosh,
that's just story. Pull our hairs back and just let's go.
Pull your hairs back.
Pull my hair back.
All right, Padres leave for Korea in 2 days. We're at this point, we know Jackson Merrill's on the team. He's had 3 hits today, including a home run, his first of the spring. He's hitting over 340. I am not expecting any last-minute sizable change. Could we see Mercado on the plane and someone else not? Sure, something like that. But I'm not expecting anything of huge significance. So what does it mean for left field? What does it mean for DH for opening day? Is it Jurickson Profar in left field opening day for the Padres? Is the DH Manny Machado? Who's their third baseman opening day?
It's a great question, John, because right now, I don't know. I don't think anybody knows. Well, except for the Padres do.
They probably know.
But it's they did they release Matthew Batten, correct? Or send him down or whatever? He was a player that exactly. Yeah. Aggie Rosario, Tyler Wade.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a good question, John.
Graham
Pauley,
maybe. And again, I guess at the end of the day, it kind of proves this point. That is, we've obsessed over it for a month, and at the end of the day, they're going to go to Korea with this team. This is the team. This is the team they're going with. It has some flaws. It has a lot of really good parts. Fernando Tatis Jr., yada, yada, yada. You know, I mean, there's a lot of really good players on this team. Hassan Kim is coming off a really good year. And then there's some flaws on this team. Probably like most teams, they're not the Dodgers.
No.
And they're not going to be the Dodgers this year in all likelihood. There's a 98% chance they don't have the same season as the Dodgers. But the truth is, I don't think the Padres are probably worse off than a good chunk of Major League Baseball heading into the year would be my guess. I bet other teams are curious about a left field battle. Mm-hmm. I bet other teams are curious about a fifth spot in the rotation. It's just very magnified here because they traded Juan Soto and they did very little this offseason.
And it's also more magnified because you just came off of the most disappointing season in franchise history. And that's not hyperbole. That's like a fact with all the expectations around the team, right. The payroll were where it was, the superstars on the roster coming off of an NLCS run, and you laid an egg and you embarrassed everybody. Coming off of that season, knowing that this year, not only for your GM, but for your team, it's like you gotta get back to the postseason. You have to make the postseason. Also, coming off of getting rid of your manager again, even though semantics say that he went to the Giants, you give him an opportunity, they hired him, whatever. You did not want Bob Melvin here, plain and simple. You change your manager, and you got to win. You got to make the postseason. And with that being said, to do nothing in the offseason to upgrade your team to make sure last year doesn't happen again, even though there's not the expectations that there were last year or even the payroll.
Right.
But still doing nothing. Why it makes it kind of head scratching and also like worrisome that this is the team they're going to roll out. And if it doesn't work, there's really nowhere else to turn. But like these players don't perform and they don't fill these holes internally, then where are you turning?
I mean, I'm assuming these are your outfielders on the opening day roster, assuming they carry 5 outfielders. Fernando Tatis Jr., great. And then 4 huge question marks. Jackson Merrill, I get it. He's had a good spring. He's a question mark. Jurickson Profar. Jose Azocar. And what's Mercado's first name? Oscar? So 4 of your outfielders potentially on the opening day roster are Jackson Merrill, Jurickson Profar, Jose Azocar, and Oscar Mercado. I mean, like, you got to be real with it. Like, I think most people would have questions about a team with that heading into a year is the overall point. Plus, you have Manny, who's had setbacks. Apparently, he's not going to be in the field, is he? He hasn't been in the field all spring.
If back in, say, 2019, this was the team, do you think we'd be still talking about, man, there's so many holes in this roster? Or would be like excited, like, oh, this team could be maybe good. Like, I like the young talent.
You wouldn't have there was no in 2019, they had last been in the postseason when?
2007.
Yeah. So no.
Well, no, 6, right?
So no is the answer. But it's not 2019.
I know.
And they've invested so heavily in this roster. And they've also,
that's why it's different.
They've spent on a veteran core that is in their prime, which is great. Credit to them. And now they're pairing this veteran core in their prime with question marks.
Yep. And again, Jackson Merrill will be on this opening day roster. I would be utterly shocked. I would get like a tattoo on my forehead if Jackson Merrill's not on this opening day roster. That's how shocked I would be.
Okay, then. Are you gonna get a tattoo on your forehead of you eating a shoe?
When did I say that?
I don't know, but you lost the bet. You didn't eat a shoe.
That was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't remember what.
Merrill.
I don't remember what had to happen that you were going to eat your shoe, but you were going to eat your shoe over something.
You lost the bet.
I did?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
But didn't eat the shoe.
But I'm just saying, I would be completely shocked if Jackson Merrill's not on this opening day roster.
Well, he's on the opening.
I know. That's what I mean. He's on this opening day roster.
That's why you get the tattoo in your head.
Because he's going to be on it. Like, there's no question on my mind.
It's going to be amazing. Here's what I want to. Here's what. All off season, Dodgers have spent $1 billion. Padres have spent like $20. Padres win 2 games in Korea
because it's baseball.
That's the thing. Nobody knows. Just like I said, I don't know what Merrill's going to do in the regular season based on his spring, and that's a factual statement. I don't know what's going to happen in 2 games in Korea.
No.
Dodgers spent $1 billion or more, and we don't know what's going to happen.
Isn't it weird that like I don't have much feel on this? Like I don't have a feel on this team. They could go so many ways.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah,
like they could either win 87 games, they could win 78 games. I just don't have a feel. They could win 82 games.
Yeah,
they can win 84. Like they can go 80 and 82. I just don't have like this feel. Like last year's team started the year, the feel was 90 wins minimum. And then as the season went on, it was like, oh, this is going downhill. And we both said, like, don't be surprised if this team does not live up to those expectations. And what happened? They won 82 games.
At John Schaefer, December 7th, 2022. A reminder that at Jim Russell SD said he'd eat a shoe if the Padres signed Xander Bogaerts.
I did?
You did.
I did not.
We're waiting.
I don't remember.
328 legs. Okay, let's go to the phones. 877.
Wait, what? Where was
767. Dave Leland at Davey Sports 98 just found the tweet. 877-767-4760 if you want to weigh in. All right, Matt wants to weigh in.
I still don't remember that.
Exactly you don't. All right.
That means it never happened.
Matt, you're on with Jon and Jim. Thanks for calling in. What's on your mind?
What's up, guys?
What's up, man?
Okay, we all know the potential, if Joe and you get injured, season's over. We know it. Now, let's stack up this roster compared to 2022. I'm going to give you you want Austin Nola or do you want
Campy?
You saw, yeah, of course, obviously. Upgrade at catcher.
Keep going.
You want Jake Cronenworth or do you want the Josh Bell that we had and the Eric Hosmer and the Will Myers? What do you want?
I know where you're going.
Fair. Keep going.
Jake Cronenworth, upgrade at first base. Now, second base, do you want Xander Bogaerts or do you want Jake Cronenworth?
Keep going.
Okay, Xander Bogaerts, upgrade at second base. Shortstop, do you want 2022 Ha-Seong Kim or do you want 2024 Ha-Seong Kim?
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I know, Matt. Are you trying to say that this roster and lineup is better than their 2022 wild card roster?
No, he's trying to say that he likes hot dogs. Yes, that's what he's trying to say.
I know.
So Manny Machado at third. Do you want the Juan Soto that we had or Fernando Tatis Jr.? Oh, and we had Nomar Mazara. Sorry.
Nomar Mazara wasn't a starter, was he?
No.
Maybe
there's some profile
period of time.
He filled in. I mean, who else did we have? We had no one in right field.
Profar.
Will Myers.
Oh, Will Myers. Yeah, thank you.
Butterfly.
Yeah.
Well, technically, we have no one in right field this year.
So, okay. So the point is this is better than the 2022 team. Well, why was the 2023 team worse?
Because of mindset. Because you had 4 prima donnas in the roster. And
so hold on. Now you're not going anywhere. So the reason they didn't win last year is because they had Juan Soto, who's a prima donna?
But they had Juan Soto in 2022.
No. I'm saying that the chemistry was way off.
So how do you know it's right now?
I'm not saying it's good right. I'm not saying it's the same chemistry as 2022. But what I'm saying is it's got to be better than 2023, right?
Fair.
Don't you think they've learned something?
Fair.
Don't you think maybe a couple of them have put their egos aside?
But let me ask you this, Matt, before you go, because what would you want? You want the talent with the friction? You want Soto, Hader, Snell? Or you want this with the possibility of cohesion?
Give me this. I mean, obviously, I don't want to trade off Soto under any circumstances. But give me this team. I'll ride with this team. I mean, it can't be worse than last year in terms of expectations and results.
Thank you, Matt. Good call. I get. I saw this. I saw this tweet today, and I get where you're coming from. Here's the one big difference with that team and this team. The pitching on that team was
22,
much better.
So run through the rotation with me. Obviously, you got Darvish, Musgrove, Snell with.
Well, Josh Hader was on the team. Now he didn't do well in the regular season, but towards the end of the
year, postseason.
Yeah, did really well.
Yep.
Who else was in that road? Look it up.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the point he is making.
And
it's a fair one. You had Manaea and Clevenger in that rotation.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, again, that team, their depth was better than this team, and it managed throughout the rest of that season. Now, Manny had an MVP type of year.
He did.
Okay, which was much needed. And that pitching staff carried that team through some really, really bad lineups. Mm-hmm. They had some role players really step up when needed. And then when they got Juan Soto didn't really perform in the regular season. But again, that team won 89 games.
Yep.
Okay.
That's right.
There was a lot of people saying that team should have been better.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Last year's team, 82 wins. Everyone thought that team should have been at least 15 games better than they were.
Yeah. Yeah.
This year's team, I don't know, man. The depth is just that like I said, start the show. The Jackson Merrill conversation, to me, it's not as concerning as the depth and the pitching. Those two things are the most concerning parts of this roster going into this season, because you can't afford any major injury. None.
Yeah, and to Matt's point, and to be fair to Matt, he started the conversation by saying we get it. If Darvish or Musgrove are out, you're in trouble. And, that's exactly right. And some of the points he's making, I understand it. If you want to do the apples to apples, or maybe it's apples to oranges off 2022, maybe have upgraded in some areas. But it doesn't work like that. Guess what? They had a better roster in 23 than 22, and they took a step backwards.
Yeah, big step backwards.
So we don't, and to his credit, again, he didn't say I'm guaranteeing you this team's winning 90 games, but I'm just telling you that, yeah, maybe they do have a better clubhouse dynamic. Maybe they have learned. I'm all for it. But what I know they don't have is Juan Soto, Josh Hader, or Blake Snell.
I'm not saying or thinking that this team is, with the roster it has right now, I'm like, oh, it's 75 wins. I still think even with this roster, with all these holes, they win 85 games this year. Would I be surprised? No, I wouldn't. Not at all. I wouldn't. If they win 95 games, that would surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
But 85, 86 wins, like, no, that wouldn't surprise me at all. I'd be like, okay, yeah, I could see it. I could see that happening. It's just, if anybody goes down or if guys don't have good seasons, then it gets harder and harder to envision like 85 wins. But on paper, 82, 83, 84, like 82 to 85 wins, I could see it happening for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I do. All right, coming up on the other side, we're giving away a free pair of tickets to the Shamrock St. Patty's Day Music and Beer Festival. In fact, we had someone on the text line say, can you make that for Apple listeners as well? We could put an exact time on that. We'll tell you. Why don't you call for those? We'll tell you what you need when you call, but you can call at 5:35 on the nose. 5:35 on the nose for your chance to win a pair of tickets to the Shamrock St. Patty's Day Music and Beer Festival. You're going to need something that I'll tell you about on the other side, but you can call at 5:35 on the nose, 877-767-4760. On the other side, what's it going to take for San Diego State this week in Las Vegas, plus Jim's back page? That's next. JD Gaucho, thank you again, man. Yeah, this is a good college basketball story. Dan Monson, who was at Long Beach State forever, is out as of today, I believe. That was announced. Could Chris Acker or Dave Velasquez be candidates for the job? Cal Poly is open too. Always a legitimate question, obviously, because of the success that San Diego State has had. Can it continue to retain its assistants? And obviously, there's been a lot of assistants retained over the last 25 years. Dutch, for 18 seasons. Justin Hudson was on that bench for a long time. So, I mean, these are fair questions, obviously. Can you keep your assistants based on all the success that you're having? I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong, that the Long Beach State AD, Bobby Smitherin, was at San Diego State, which he was. So there is that tie, of course, as well. He was named AD at Long Beach State a year ago after being at San Diego State. So there's that tie as well. But I mean, who knows? I have no idea. It's just, I mean, it's a fair question, I would say, to ask JD Gaucho, but of course, I mean, if I had any information, I don't. So we'll see. Stay tuned.
Thanks for the super, JD.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. We'll be back. All right, where does San Diego State sit right now with Selection Sunday 6 days away? Plus, we have tickets to give away for the Shamrock St. Patty's Day Music and Beer Festival. Stay with us.
This update is brought to you by Taco Bell. Padres announced their opening day starters today in Seoul, Korea. Yu Darvish will take on Tyler Glasnow of the Dodgers. Joe Musgrove in Game 2 versus Yoshinobu Yamamoto for the Dodgers. Padres leave for Korea on Wednesday. Moving over to the Aztecs, they start their Mountain West Conference tournament play on Thursday as they'll take on UNLV, 2:30 p.m. tip-off right here on San Diego Sports 760. NFL free agent frenzy. Flurry of moves today. Kirk Cousins going to the Falcons. Saquon Barkley to the Eagles. Josh Jacobs to the Packers. Austin Eckler to the Commanders, just to name a few big-time free agents. And the Clippers, they announced their new G League team today. The San Diego Clippers will move to Oceanside from Ontario next season. Taco Bell's new Cravings Value Menu is a big deal, or rather it's 10 big deals, from new items like the loaded nachos to familiar favorites like the spicy potato soft taco. Check it out at our participating Taco Bell today. Available for a limited time only while supplies last.
Is Okar this spring 10 for 30? His second home run. Hassan Kim, Jim, 350 this spring. Jeez, maybe they should play all their games this spring.
Didn't you say
him 500?
You said it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
But you also said if it doesn't matter for guys like Joe Musgrove,
and it doesn't matter for these guys either.
But if it does matter for Jackson Merrill, then it should matter for
Joe Musgrove. But it doesn't matter, as I've always said.
But if people are going to act like, not you.
Yeah, if people are going to act like it matters, it all matters. Exactly.
But if it doesn't matter, then it doesn't matter.
It's like, is the world flat?
It just doesn't matter if we win.
I mean, nobody knows. We lose. That's the thing. Nobody knows. It's not a predictive metric in any regard.
But wouldn't you say that at least it's better that they had success this spring, those certain players, rather than them not have success?
Yes, just like I would say I would rather it be sunny today than cloudy, but being sunny today does not guarantee any future sunny days.
It just doesn't
I'm
matter.
using AJ Preller's words.
I know.
AJ Preller said spring training is not a place to evaluate players. You know where is a place to evaluate players? The big leagues.
True.
Or AAA or AA or single A. And that's what they typically do. So I'm all for Jackson Merrill having a good spring. He may have a great regular season. I won't say it's because of his good spring.
Mm-hmm.
He may have a terrible regular season. I will not say it's because of his good spring. I'll leave the merits during the regular season alone. What he does there is all that matters. Does some of it have value? Yeah, I would say for starting pitchers, you want to be healthy. You want to be able to get built up. That to me is the biggest part of spring training. Build someone up, be available to go from day one.
Would you agree that once they announced Jackson Merrill on this opening day roster, that he needs to stay on it and play as much as possible?
100%. No, not that he needs to stay on it. No, but that he needs to play as much as possible. 1,000%. No, he only stays on it if he earns staying on it, if that makes sense. I mean, I'm not sending him down after 2 for 20, but if he's 5 for 60, might be time for the tough conversation, you know?
Yeah. So I went back and looked at 2019 articles from Kevin, because Marty mentioned it today on Darren's show, that all of these pieces that are being written by Kevin about the greatness of Jackson Merrill.
Yeah.
Right. Was there the same level of excitement and, oh my God, like about Fernando Tatis Jr. in 2019?
And what's the answer?
What I found was no.
I remember there being a lot of hype around.
What
Tatis.
I found was there was some kind of like worry about, is this too soon for Tatis? Sure. Also, starting his clock too early. Why not wait 16 days or 18 days, whatever there was, to bring him up? It's changed. But back then, that was the thing. And I saw this article that Kevin wrote and this quote from AJ Preller.
Okay.
And I kind of link it to the situation with Jackson Merrill. That's why I asked the question. If Jackson Merrill comes up, he needs to stay, right? You can't yo-yo him to the minors, even if he's failing. Because it feels like,
well, if he's failing, you can,
if he's failing at a level where you're like, you have to demote him and put him in the minors, then you have to do that.
Exactly.
Right. This quote from AJ Preller. 2019.
Okay.
Not the end of the world if a guy comes up before he's ready, but in an ideal world, you don't want to send him back and now he's on a yo-yo. You want to get to the point where he feels like he's mastered the things that we've asked him to do at the minor league level.
Yep.
And then it's about going and competing against the best guys in the game, and he's going to be there to stay.
I would agree with that quote.
I would agree with that quote too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we've been talking about Jackson Merrill is, it's not the end of the world if you rush him.
Correct.
But knowing that he's had so few little, not few little, but like the time that you need in the minors, he hasn't fully like had the most time that you want from a guy in the minor leagues. That's where the concern gets. From us.
I agree with that. I mean, the difference for me between 2019 Tatis and 2024 Merrill is the rules have changed since 2019 because there was a start clock process to begin seasons that has now been changed with this CBA. Plus, and I could be wrong, maybe I'm off. I can do my own deep dive on it. I remember a lot of excitement about the idea of Fernando Tatis Jr. being in the Major League roster. I don't know if it's the same as Merrill, but I do recall, because I sat in this very chair talking about it, there being a good amount of excitement for Fernando.
There was there definitely was a good amount of excitement. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But Tatis was different. I think Jackson Merrill.
And I don't know.
I feel like a little bit it's kind of being forced down our throats, where Tatis, his play spoke for himself. I don't like Jackson Merrill.
His what spoke for himself? His spring or his play?
Both.
No, his spring. Tatis' spring or Merrill's spring?
No. Tatis's play in the minors.
Yeah.
And what he did in spring.
But like we both did the deep dive on his spring. His spring was fine.
His spring was fine, but his minors was really good.
Yes, it was. Better than Merrill's.
Better than Merrill's.
Yeah. And I would argue that's more
that's
of the evaluation.
That's what the difference is.
Yeah, exactly.
When Tatis was in the minors, his play in the minors was better than what Merrill's done in the minors by a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, exactly. So, for example, to your point, so Tatis comes up in 2019, and he kind of sets the world on fire before getting hurt. Because
should have been an all-star that year.
Right, absolutely. I freaked out about it.
You did.
He had a 969 OPS in 84 games, which is incredible. But here's my point. That's way better than his spring. Like the spring wasn't really an indicator there. Like he burst onto the scene, but this is who he was as a minor leaguer.
Yeah.
He just burst onto the scene. Now, can Merrill do this? I hope so. My point would be we haven't seen it in the minor leagues. That would be my point. Now we haven't seen it in spring training. We haven't seen it in the minor leagues.
Right. And that's where, that's why I said it would behoove Jackson Merrill to have a really good spring. So
it'll shut people up.
Not shut people up, but give people confidence in that organization
to do it.
That this is the move for them that feels like it's the right move.
I already know what's going to happen. Me and you, and I'm fine with it. I'm glad that people tune in to hear a reaction to it. Me and you are kind of, I already know what people are going to say. If Merrill hits, they're going to be like, you guys are wrong. No, that's not what we said. I never once said that. I said the odds are stacked against Jackson Merrill being an everyday regular, being moved off position as a 20-year-old and being a contributor to a contending team. That doesn't mean it's impossible.
Yeah.
I am telling you from my experience, the odds of a 20-year-old, by the way, there have been 2 starting center fielders in the history of Major League Baseball in the last 50 years before their 21st birthday. 2 in baseball in the last 50 years before their 21st birthday. The odds are stacked against him. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't mean it's impossible. Just the odds are stacked against him putting together a 969 OPS year, playing 155 games as the Padres center fielder. And I stick by it.
Absolutely. Another quote from 2019 from AJ Preller. And this is this relates to Jackson Merrill, our conversation about if he's not doing well and you put him in the minors, like, is that going to hurt his growth? Like, when you bring a guy up, I feel like he needs to stay in order for him to like truly succeed. There's obviously a lot of cases out there that guys come up, they go to the minors and they come back and they light the world on fire. But I think a lot of players would tell you they just want to stay up the big leagues and go through it. So Preller says we're open-minded to showing him, Tatis, he's handled the things and is ready to play in the big leagues. What you don't want to do is rush a guy where he's up and down, back and forth. When it comes to the big leagues, we want him to stay in the big leagues and be there for a long time to be an impactful player. Mm-hmm. Him saying what you don't want to do is rush a guy where he's up and down, back and forth.
Yep.
That's the entirety of Jackson Merrill, and that is where our concerns come from.
Right.
And that's a question that we have been asking. We're not definitively saying this guy sucks. Like, listen, what we are saying, which is a question and it's a concern, which we hope Jackson Merrill overcomes that. And I'm cautiously optimistic that he will, is that you do not want to rush a guy and get to a point where you rushed him, he's not doing well, and then you send him down, and that's going to hurt his confidence and potentially hurt his development. You don't want that to happen. And that you hope it doesn't happen with Jackson Merrill. What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing because I hope he goes 4 for 4 in that first game. I really do. And I hope the Padres win like 8-7 and it's back and forth.
Me too.
He lifts them to a huge win. Because again, it proves both sides. Nobody knows what happens in any individual game.
Right.
It doesn't prove 162. There's so much that can come out of it. He goes 0 for 4, same thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't prove anything either way. It's a soap opera. It never really ends. If he produces this year and is a key contributor on a team that makes the postseason, I'll say I was wrong. And if he's not,
wrong about what though?
That I thought the odds were stacked against him being that player in 2024.
But you're not saying he was going to suck.
I never said he was going to suck.
No, you're just saying
I just think he's probably being asked to do a little more than he should be asked to do.
So you wouldn't be wrong. You would just say, I'm glad that he overcame those odds and performed at a very high level. You wouldn't be wrong about anything.
I'm wrong.
But you're not wrong.
Because
that's where I think people are coming at us is like, we're not wrong. We're not even definitively saying he's this or that. We're just we're posing a question of like, what if this happens? Then what? What if that happens? Then what? That's it.
Fair. Jim's back page next. All right, we have Jim's back page for you. That's coming up next. I love conference tournaments.
It's not an admission. We know that.
We already know that. But I'm like, have you ever like clicked on tomorrow's scoreboard to look at which conference tournaments are being played tomorrow?
No.
That I have not. No.
Right. I have. So it's a problem. It's a problem.
It's okay.
Like, am I the only one getting excited for the 11-14 game in the Big 12 between like Oklahoma State and UCF?
Yes.
Let's see who's in the WAC semifinals, John.
Good question.
So I texted you yesterday when I was at Circa, the sports book, and I go,
Yeah,
dude,
what'd you
this
say?
Drake Indiana State game's amazing.
I'm like, I know.
You're like, preach.
Yeah.
I was like,
watching.
what?
Because they came back from 18 down. Someone did. Indiana State only then lose.
Yes, Drake came. It was tie game. Or no, they were trailing by 2, and then Drake pulled away.
Started from the bottom. Now
well, they're actually a pretty good team in their conference.
Whatever.
Missouri Valley.
Oh, look at you.
What's
What do they
up?
call it?
The Missouri Valley Conference
Is called Missouri Valley Conference Tournament is called
Arch Madness.
Dude, I'm so proud of you. I gave you not even a 1% chance of knowing that.
Because I watched the game and I watched it
So you sat next to
intently.
someone from Missouri, didn't you?
No, I did not, Brent. I actually
Madness.
I was paying attention to that game yesterday while eating a cheeseburger at the Circus Sportsbook very intently.
Good, man.
It was
now,
great.
why do you think they called Arch Madness?
Because it's in Missouri, which the Arch is in St. Louis.
Dude, I'm so proud of you.
Yes.
Jim's back page. Let's get to it.
All right, John, with the Masters coming up here in a couple of weeks a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, definitely.
If you go to the Masters, I've never been. My dad's been, I think twice. No, actually, sorry. He's been one time.
Okay.
He's been one time. But if you go to the Masters, what's great about it is like the concession food.
It's affordable, right?
It's all the same prices as when they started the Masters.
Okay.
Which is like $1.99 for like a sandwich.
That's crazy. Yeah, I've heard that before.
And they have special things there that they sell at the Masters, which is kind of iconic. It might sound weird, but for that tournament at that golf course, it's iconic, which is like the pimento cheese, right?
Yes.
The moon pies, the lemonade. It's just, I don't know, it's just like hits different.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So they do this every year, which is awesome. If you don't go to the Masters, which a lot of people don't go, and a lot of people hold Masters parties. And if you want to bring the Masters to your house, you can do that by getting food kits that send you actual like food from the Masters. They send you cups, they send you food, they send you like coasters, they send you little flags.
It's like authentic from like Augusta National kind of, or like affiliated?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So there's two things here. If you want to get a classic kit, which serves 4 to 6 people, it's $99.95.
That's pretty cool.
$100.
Yeah.
You get a 24-ounce thing of pimento cheese. You get 6 bags of plain potato chips, 6 moon pies, Masters branded souvenir cups. You get 12. You get Masters branded wax paper, 12 sleeves. You get Masters coasters, hosting kit materials. The bread and bun is not included, but you make sandwiches out of this stuff.
Okay.
And if you want the big kit, the large hosting kit, which serves 12 to 14, you
How
get
much is that?
That's $179.95.
Come on.
You get egg salad, pimento cheese, pork barbecue, potato chips, barbecue potato chips, cookies, Georgia pecan caramel popcorn, Masters branded souvenir cups, coasters, and kit materials for $179.95. Those are on sale now if you want to host Masters parties.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, that seems like something that would really sell out.
It
There's
does.
so many people that are interested in it.
And the biggest thing about the Masters is like souvenirs, things from the Masters, you only can buy at the Masters.
Right.
Like, you can't go online to PGA.com and buy like a Masters hat. You can only buy it at their gift shop, pro shop. And that's why you see online like secondhand people selling it for like triple, because you can only buy it.
That's a good idea for someone that likes golf. Seriously, that's a really good idea.
Yeah. So check it out.
Yeah.
If you love the Masters. Starbucks has announced lavender drinks in new spring menu items. Starbucks is welcoming the upcoming spring with the addition of a new floral flavor to its menu, lavender. They announced
it's going to taste like flowers.
No, I've had lavender before, like coffee, because
coffee.
Yeah,
that's new to me.
Shout out to Millport down the street from us in Imperial Beach. It's like a little coffee shop. It's a great place.
Yeah.
Will Holder sells his coffee there.
Oh, cool.
It's an awesome place.
We'll have lavender coffee.
Probably. He'll probably have lavender coffee.
Okay.
The new iced lavender cream oat milk matcha beverage features smooth and creamy matcha served over ice topped with lavender cream cold foam or sweet and subtle floral notes. Now purchase that at all Starbucks locations. Yeah. Finally, we're kind of running out of time here. IHOP and Applebee's have begun opening dual branded locations across the country.
IHOP's Applebee's.
IHOP and Applebee's.
It's a merger we've all been waiting
for. Like, what was it? Taco Bell with KFC all those years?
Yeah.
Okay. KFC and Long John Silver.
Okay. I mean, IHOP and Applebee's combining forces. Love to see it.
You do.
Snap.
All right, we are back tomorrow, 3 p.m. Padres a day closer to Korea.
I will not take another day off this week, except for Thursday when will be off because the Aztecs play.
Good point. Yeah, we'll get into that, bro. Day close to the Aztecs as well. Keep it right here for Brent and Jim. I'm John. Keep it right here. This is San Diego Sports 760. Okay.